vibes. Yes, family. You dig? Let me bring this up some. Oh, shit. Hold up, family. Let me fix this up, yeah? Ouch. Oahspe. Yes, fam. So yes, family. That was a nice little vibes, yeah? Put on some. Yeah. Yes, family. It was a nice little vibes, yeah? Throw puncher was good, it's a vibes, yes, Day, I see you, it's a vibes, you done know. Just want to do a little recaps. You know what I mean? Let me see if a couple more people are coming before we go. We'll go chime in with the brother them. Yeah. It was a beautiful vibes, you know what I mean? Cal P was good, beloved. It was definitely dope, man. We bringing that fire, beloved. Nigga, you lucky we ain't in the same city, bro. You lucky all these fakers that rock out with us. If we was in the same city, oh my God, yo. If all of us was in the same city, yo, it'll be fire. Damn, we more family than family over here, yo. You know what I mean? If you really think about it, from the time we wake up till we go to sleep, we either on Facebook talking with each other. We spend more time with each other than family. And then when you with family, you can't even converse on these levels sometimes with family. So the real love and the real family is spiritual family, yo. We spiritual enlightened beings. You dig? It was a nice vibe, yo. The world like me lucky, baby. But that was a great debate. I mean, a great build with the brothers. You know what I mean? Yes, family, just had to take care of some business real quick, you know? Vibes are going in the hood. So yeah, yo, that was a nice vibe. The brothers, you know what I mean? Respect to it's a Hilltop Israel and Don Yahuda. I like the brothers. They was honest. They wasn't trying to, they ain't have no undertone intentions. They was really genuine with their questions. They was really honest with their questions, and I respect that. You know? And you had a couple has, you know, like when that one cat was throwing the questions, a good Q&A, good back and forth. But the brother Don Yehuda got the Oahspe. So I think what really opened his eyes when we confirmed when he read Ezra that the Ezra was inspired to rewrite because the previous record was destroyed, and then how we went into the Oahspe and we showed that it was the false god Eluamung who was the one behind the inspiration of Ezra. So that entails showed you what's the inspiration behind the Tanakh. It was inspired and compiled by Eluamung using using Ezra as the host. The host meaning the vehicle, the body. See that? So the same way John Nubro got used to deliver the revelation, the same way Ezra got used, but like we say, the difference in between is reading the revelation to distinguish if this shit is righteous or not. So when everybody asks, is the Oahspe authority, what authority do the Oahspe have, or why do you consider the Oahspe above the Bible? It's because we read it. That's the first thing you got to do. Just imagine you know the Bible and somebody never read the Bible and they ask you, well, why do you use the Bible as the authoritative figure? Nigga, because you read it. You talk about the second coming of Mashiach, nigga, because it's in the Bible. You have to read those prophecies in order to believe those prophecies, in order to believe that this is the word of God. Now the Muslims, they got their own prophecy. They got jihad. You know what I mean? They got the Mahdi. That's totally different from what you got going on over here in your Bible. And this is what we're saying. Both parties are off. That's why in the Oahspe, when we read the book of judgment, it stated what? Both offense and defense I render judgment against. So I don't care if you're a Muslim or a Christian or Hebrew Israelite, y'all going to war with the Muslims, both parties are in judgment. Both parties will be judged based off their own actions. So if you think, you know, if you're waiting on a Messiah and then the Messiah is supposed to be coming to do battle and that's your thought process, and then the Muslims is over here thinking that, yo, when the Mahdi come, we're going to do battle to kill off all the non-believers, guess what? Y'all going to have a hell of a clash. Because y'all going to be fighting with all y'all soul of might thinking you fighting in the name of God when you fighting in the name of a false God. And if your ass lose the battle, you become a victim to the God, the God you in battle with. So if Allah beats the Christian, if Allah beats Christ, that means you niggas are subjected to Allah after death. You see that? That's why the Oahspe is poking, yo. Harriet, I see you throat punching. Big up to everybody that chimed in. You know, it was great. Taz was good. Shots going out to the fam. Selah, peace. Cal P. What it do? Yeah, me and Cal P, yeah, we go in, you know what I'm saying? Like, nigga, you ever get niggas in a debate, in a controlled environment? Yo, like how Sarnetta used to do them debates with Cyrus Suicedi and them back in Harlem when they used to rent out the building and do it like that, nigga. That's why sometimes I love New York City for that reason, because the way New York City is set up, it's so concentrated in so many people that, you know, you throw these events and people really come out, like compared to Georgia and Atlanta, it's spread out here. So it's like if you really want to get shit popping, you really got to keep it in the city, because everybody gonna come to the city. But if we was to do some shit in College Park, way out on the south side, ain't too many niggas riding out there from where I'm at. They will, you know what I mean? But when you got shit and you just right down the block or a couple stops down, that's why I love the New York environment, yo. Because like everything is right there. As far as association, I love New York for that. You know what I mean? You can associate, but when you come to the South, everything is spread out. So the central communication in the South is the city. You know what I mean? Because the way Atlanta's set up, you got the city, and you got the 285, and then you got north, south, east, and west. And the city is where it's at. You know what I mean? That's where it's at. So that's why the Israelites in Atlanta, they in the city. They ain't from the 5 Points, they ain't from the Woodruff Park. That's where they be at. So these debates could pop off. It's just, if we had a Sarnetta type of nigga out here running around, because I remember when Sarnetta came out here and had that little thing he had over here up the street from me. It was a Rossetti in them. I forgot the name of it. But the people came out. I was shocked. I'm like, damn, this thing got the parking lot full. And he out of New York. And he got the people from Atlanta coming out. So I'm like, they out here. It's just that ain't nobody really putting together events on a conscious scale to really do these things. You know what I mean? Oahspe verse everything. You goddamn right. Hold on, let me get a lighter real quick. Shit. Let me put on some music, because it's always a vibe when you're with the Idrin, yeah? It's a vibes. Let me put the music on. Let me get my lighter real quick. And I got my lighter real quick. That was quick. That was quick. Hits the vibes. Hits the vibes. Create a game. When you with the creator gang, ain't no goddamn losing over here. You see, when we got on them infants, everything got silent. The self-conviction kicked in. That's what we doing to them. We convicted them. Self-conviction is what we addressing. So when Cal P brought back and re-emphasized that infant shit, I said, yeah, let's stay on the next to them. They want to talk, whoever want to, talk about, the white and yellow people, that ain't got nothing compared to your God killing infants. Nothing in comparison to that. You dig? Angelic, what's good? Yeah, yo. I'm ready to make my channel into debate nation. Yeah, we need the platforms, yo. Like Malachi Maccabee, he got a great platform. He got a plethora, a great body of work, just like myself. That brother been out there for a minute. You know what I mean? It's a vibes over here, yo. So we showed and proved that the Oahspe is against warfare. So why would you follow a God of war when he's gonna bring the afflictions upon you? See, the Oahspe, the revelations of the Oahspe is read like a story, like a fairy tale. They want to talk about the Oahspe, a fairy tale book. It talks about, you know, the second coming. He gonna be sitting in the clouds with the horses. He gonna do battle with the nations. He gonna cast Satan to hell for 1,000 years, and Satan gonna be released. This shit playing out like a story. You know what I mean? Oahspe don't play out like a story. He gives you the variables, and the variables play out itself. It's like rolling dice. You can't predict dice. That shit got to roll out and play out. So you're following a script that's scripted. Like, nigga, we waiting for this to happen. Okay, the sun's supposed to turn black as sackcloth. Those are cosmological signs. The moon shall be red. The Oahspe talk about these things when the earth goes through condensed atmospheric regions. And the atmosphere and the cosmological skies, the sun, moon, and stars reflect the density that the earth is traveling through during that time. Just like the sun at high noon, it's orange. I mean, not high noon, at sunrise, the sun is orange. But at high noon, it's yellow. Well, what made the change? How did it go from orange to yellow? It's the vortex. See how important the vortex is? The vortex determined why the sun went from orange to yellow. Let me pull up a picture of the sun at sunrise, and then a picture of the sun at high noon to show you the difference, and show you it's the vortex that causes that. See that we deal with the sciences over here. Let me get a nice picture of sunrise. Sunrise, sunset. Let me see here. Agile, leave it in Agile. Yeah, we got it in Agile already. We spoke about this the other night. Me and Cap when we was touching on the vortex and the wavelength of vortices. You understand? The wavelength of vortices determine the color spectrum of vortices. So look, this is sunrise or sunset. It's the same thing. Sunrise and sunset is one of the same things, just on opposite sides. So sunrise or sunset, look at the sun. Look at the sky. The sky ain't blue no more. That shit red. Let's look at the electromagnetic spectrum. Why is the sky red, or why is the sun reflected as a red light? Let's go here. That's why. Look at the red spectrum of the electromagnetic spectrum and the vibrational frequencies vibrating in there. Those are long wavelengths. So that shows you the wavelengths are longer at what we consider sunrise and sunset. So the electromagnetic spectrum is showing you that the wave frequency at sunrise and sunset are long wavelengths. Those are long vortexian wavelengths that is expressed through the color. So by the coloration, we understand the vortexian speed taking place. And then by the time the sun reaches here, high noon, let me see if I can pull up a high noon pic. Let me look up a high noon pic real quick. When you get a picture of the sun at high noon, sun at high noon is when the sun is directly above head. Hold on, put sub. I'm like, why the hell is Subway sandwich pulling up? All right, so check it. This is the sun at high noon I'm about to pull up. Let me just download the pic. Download the pic, pull it up. All right, where we at? That thing ain't ting. Let me see if it'll pull up. Yeah, so what y'all seeing right there is the sun at evening and sunrise, one and the same, just opposite poles, opposite direction. I am staying downloaded. Hold on. Let me download this picture of the sun at high noon. That's down when it worked. Look at that brilliant star. That looks glorious. The gloriousness of the Creator's creation. Boy, I tell you, and it says that we're going to be shining just as bright as these stars in our spiritual bodies. I was like, wow. So these angels come down to be blinding your ass and stuff like. So check this, see? Now that's the sun at high noon. That's the sun when it's directly above head. But look at the sun when it's setting and when it's rising. It's totally different than how it looks right here. The reason being is because of the vortex. The vortex at high noon right here with the blue atmosphere is because of this. The vibrational frequencies of the vortex is moving much faster straight above head. And that's why the sun is looking glorious or shining like that. That's why the sky is blue, because the electromagnetic spectrum is moving at a frequency of 400 to 500 nanometers. And those are small wavelengths. The longer wavelengths of visible light is on the far end of the spectrum of red. Dark red, all the way and up to yellow. So when you see the sun shining as a brilliant white light, or when you see the sun shining as an orange or yellow, it's because it's moving at these vibrational frequencies of what's that, 600 to 700 nanometers. That's the vibrational frequency that the vortex is expressing for us to be aware through the color. So when we see the color, we know the vortice wavelengths that's being expressed. So when we absorb sunlight, we're absorbing the vibrational frequency, the vortexian current from sunlight at eve or sunset. We're taking in longer wavelengths of vortexian frequency through sunlight, through light at evening. And when we look at the sun at midday, the vibrational frequencies are moving much faster, descending faster at high noon. So that's what we're showing you. Look at the sky, it's blue, but over here the sky is lit up like it's red. See that? All has to do with the electromagnetic spectrum, yo. That's why I say in creation there's three sciences. The electromagnetic spectrum, which is the vibrational frequency of everything in creation. The periodic table of elements, which is the physical makeup of everything in creation. And then you have the pH, balance, which is the balance of life. That's what's going on with that, family. So that's the beautiful thing about the Oahspe. It renders up these sciences. And then we can back the science with science. So that's what we're doing, family. So if white people wanted to get rid of black folks, they would have been did it by now, yeah. If any race wanted to get rid of any race, they could have been did it by now. You know what I mean? That's facts. But yeah, though, we dealing with these sciences, man. And how we could back them. So we was able to display some of that. See, I couldn't really show pictures on the channel. But over here, we show illustrations to further back what we be saying. You know what I mean? Because it's a vibes, yeah? Because it's a vibes. But I ain't gonna be on Twitter. I just wanted to just hop in and just drop some gems, you know what I mean? I'm still staying for a minute. But I want to show the cosmological science of this thing right here. So, you know, that's what we dealing with, yo. That's what we dealing with. When we dealing with creation, we dealing with high science. So, like, let me give you another example. When the sun is at high noon, like, the vortexian energy during daytime is descending downward. It absorbs us. We absorb and soak in the vortex in the daytime. And then it is released from us at night. That's why a lot of times at night is when plants crack open they shell, because the vortex is releasing from the plant, or from the seed, I should say. So here's another picture of the sun at high noon, just showing you that the vortexian energy is descending directly downward to the person. See that? So when the sun is at high noon, the vortex, or what we call sunlight, or energy, whatever you want to call it, the vibrational frequencies is moving much faster. The wavelengths are shorter. Don't worry, we're going to talk on it. But yes, family, when you see the vortexian energy from the sun zooming down like that at high noon, you absorbing high energy. That's why Yahshua went up on a mountaintop. You notice when you read in the Bible, in Matthew, it stated that he went on a mountaintop alone a couple times. Why he going up on a mountaintop alone for? And what is the purpose of being on the mountaintop? What you observing up there? He's taking in solar energy. In order for Yahshua to do a lot of the miracles he was doing, he had to be solar charged. So he went up on the high mountain, because up in the high mountains, the atmospheric or the vibrational frequencies is moving at a faster rate. That's why it's cold up there, because things move faster. And then you get a better view of the cosmos, or you get a better view of the life force, which is the sun in this instance. So at sunrise, if you're on top of the mountain and you're absorbing the sun rays from the sun at the vibrational frequencies of where it's expressed at sunrise, and then you do the same thing at high noon, you're taking the vibrational frequencies of the sun through sunlight, through eyesight, and then same thing when the sun sets. So you're taking in solar energy from 3 pointers, from sunrise to high noon to sunset. If you're soaking that vortexian energy, you're getting it in from 3 different energy, 3 different times based off the wavelengths of the vortex at sunrise, sunset, and high noon. That Simu right there. That was that Simu you just seen. Green scum. Right there was that green scum. Oahspe talk about Simu. Green scum. That's an example of it right there in nature. See, so a lot of stuff Oahspe talk about, it's like, oh, okay, there you go right there. I can validate it. Cause it's a vibes. We should eat when the sun is at high noon. See that? And the reasoning of fashioning and stuff like that is spirit communion. Because the spirits are the spirits, they exist outside of visible light. So coming back to the electromagnetic spectrum, because the electromagnetic spectrum is the blueprint of spirituality or electricity. Spirituality ain't nothing but electricity. It ain't a spook. It's a science. Some people just haven't been taught the science or cleared up because of religious dogma. So the angels exist outside of this rainbow color right here. Outside of this rainbow color, the angels exist outside of visible light. So they exist in the ultraviolet rays. They exist in the infrared. That's why when you look at a lot of these shows, ghost hunters and all that shit, they're using the electromagnetic spectrum to detect spirit. They're using the electromagnetic spectrum. They'll go into the infrared. They'll use an infrared frequency to try to pick up on the spirits of the dead. So they know, they tapped in because they're dealing with the science. They ain't dealing with spookism and religion. They showing you if you want to tap into the spirits, tap into the outside of visible light. The spirits that are vibrating on a low frequency are more on the red range. The spirits that are vibrating on the higher frequency are more on the purple and blue range. See that? The purple and blue range are fast vibrational waves. They're moving faster. Where in nature does the atmosphere move faster? On mountaintops. And on top of mountaintops, at high noon, you're getting the full vibrational frequency of the higher electromagnetic spectrum. You're getting the highest and best of spirit, or ruach, or energy, when you're dealing with the faster vibrational frequency. That's why they say cold air is better than hot air. There is no germs in the cold. If you go to Alaska, ain't no germs out there. That shit is pure. Just imagine drinking some of that Alaskan water. We ain't even know what water tastes like when we taste some of that shit. So the vibrational frequencies that the angels of purity are dealing with are moving at a faster rate. And once we move outside of 400 nanometers, it becomes undetected by the physical eye, which we would call unseen, which we would call spirit and all that falls outside of this range of visible light. So if you're dealing with somebody and talking about spirits of the dead, they just exist outside of visible light, because the light force that activates this body right here, the reason I can do this is because what we call a spirit is what we call electricity. See, if you don't want to spook out somebody, just say electricity, because it's an actual fact that the body has an electrical spark that gives its life, and that electrical spark is what we call spirit. But this electrical spark that gives us life is invisible. It's unseen. So when this physical body dies, that which gave life to it moves already in the realm, it's already in the unseen. The only reason we see is because the encapsulation of this physical body. But once we cross over and this body sheds, we're going to already be in the realm of outside of visible light. Right there on the borderline, just like the ancestor right here. She's right there on the borderline of visible light and being seen, because we see her. See that? We see her, but we can see through her. So she's moving at a vibrational frequency right at the edge of visible light, where it's enough to see her and see through her. But it's enough to know that she's an invisible being, but just being seen based off that vibrational frequency she's vibrating at. If she was to speed up her vibrational frequency, she'll just disappear right before us. And we'll be like, oh, wow, where'd she go? She ain't going nowhere. She just raised up her vibrational frequency and moved it to a frequency outside of visible light. And if she slows down her vibrational frequency, she'll bring herself back into visible light. See that? This ain't no spookism. This shit is a science we dealing with. That's why it's called spiritual science, because it's the science of the unseen. And the same rules apply similar to the seen worlds. As above, so below as above. Honor and humility in the building. My man Malachi Maccabee. Yo, I swear these last couple of days, man, been moving as a brotherhood. You know what I mean? A sisterhood. Nigga waking up, going to sleep to you motherfuckers and shit. Love it. You know what I mean? The real Nazarenes in the building. See, we represent Nazarenes. Hurricane P, nigga, we Nazarenes. We Saints. We repping that shit under the Creator. So we one band. We the true Israelites trying to get the other Israelites back on board with the Creator. But the only monkey wrench is that this Oahspe was written by a white man, so they having a hard time getting over that. Nigga, goddamn tie up your boots, nigga, and get over it. You niggas is soldiers and warriors and lions, and you niggas is cowering because a white man wrote a revelation. You don't want to feel like, oh man, we going back to this white man book, he gonna enslave us and imprison us with what's said in the book. Man, nigga, get over your fucking feelings and read this shit. Look at the nigga who bringing you the revelation. You see what I'm saying? I ain't no Poindexter pussy ass type of nigga. I'm a street nigga like everybody else, gripped up with 2 Desert Eagles. That's how I move in these streets, because it's real out here. Niggas is taking heads out here. We just lost one of the rappers, Trouble. You know what I mean? Over a bitch. So it's real out here in Atlanta. Ain't no niggas, ain't no playing games, but it's highly respected too. It's a lot of respect out here. The respect is like, damn, why these niggas warn if everywhere I go, yo, peace, what's good, it's love. But it's gang on another level too. It's other shit going on outside, and you gotta take precaution. See what I'm saying? They respect me because I'm an OG, but don't get it twisted, nigga. Shit, streets is the streets. So, what we saying is that we ain't no suck-ass niggas to be sitting up here representing a white man book, telling you that this book is a good revelation, and we some house niggas. Don't get it twisted. We just trying to tell you that this information right here supersedes what the Bible has to offer as far as spiritual reality, spiritual progression. That's all. And that's why I said we prove a chapter and verse. Who that? Okay, cool. Hey, what is it? So yeah, man, we keep it 100 over here. We don't sugarcoat shit. We don't pretend over here. You see me, I burn weed right in front of y'all. I don't have to burn weed. I can sit there and play holy like I don't smoke, and I'm just this holy person. I'm not pretending with you niggas. Like Cal P, we ain't pretending, man. We keeping it 100, 1,000%. Nigga, me and the wifey blowing it down right now. Ain't nothing fake over here. We keeping it, we telling you the truth. Ain't nobody perfect either. You ain't gonna read no goddamn book, learn the shit overnight, and become holier than thou. Nah, it's a constitutional growth to this shit. It takes time. John Newbro was told not to eat meat for 10 years. As eager he wanted to know what the fuck they wanted to tell him, he had to wait 10 years. Can you imagine? Somebody comes to you, yo, I got some good news to tell you, but wait 10 years. And you like, come on, man, how you gonna play with me like that? But you gotta be patient. You gotta build up that constitutional growth and show and prove that you're even worthy to get the revelation. You dig? Cause it survives. That's right, in my Hebrew voice, nigga, you stupid. Yeah, we'll hit him with the same that's right with that Oahspe. Just imagine them niggas on the corner preaching Oahspe. Just imagine how much more people they could gather in once they show them the unification of all nations. Once they show them the dangers of engaging in warfare, bringing the afflictions upon the angels of heaven. Whether if you black, white, Puerto Rican, Mexican, it don't matter. If you spill blood, you're gonna end up in the same chaotic condition and spirit. So you got slave master, you got the niggas, you got the Korean, you got all these people in the same goddamn hell if they engaged in warfare. It don't matter. Both offense or defense, like the Oahspe say. Kayla, I see you. I see you in the building. Sis bringing the ruckus to these cats, you know what I mean? Challenging cats and they doctrines, you know what I mean? So that's the thing about growth. You always gotta grow. You always gotta continue to expand. I done ran through them books, the Holy Bible. I mean the lost books of the Bible, the forgotten books of Eden, the Gospel of Barnabas. The last thing I was touching on was them these sayings, but I didn't get too heavy into it because I came across the Oahspe and that shit kind of just took the cake. And I was like, damn. But I was dealing with the sayings, the Dead Sea Scrolls and all that. You know what I mean? The sons of light versus the sons of darkness in the Dead Sea Scrolls. I was dealing with it. Yup, Lord, yup. It's Can you elaborate on the law? On the law, Yahshua said number 7. I'm not sure what you mean by that. I'm not sure what you mean by the you can elaborate on the law. Yahshua said number 7. I'm not sure in the context of what you mean by that. But create a gang. Oh, you mean chapter and verse number 7? That's what you're referring to? Because you mean like number 7, like numerology wise, an explanation. They don't really go into like explain the numbers in that sense. You know what I mean? Other than like, you know, the idea of cycles of 7s, dealing with like the moon cycles. The 4 quarters of the moon is every 7. So, not too sure, but Maxim Up 1 was good, family. I see you. I see the fam in the building chiming in on a late night with it. We out night. It's the spooky hour, the hour that the spirits of the dead roam, the hour of communication with spirits It's during the night hours. From sunset to sunrise is the hours of the spirits of the dead, or the angels, whatever name you want to call it, the ancestors, the netches, the righteous ones, the unrighteous ones, the drudges, nigga, the freaks come out at night. The good, see your guardian angels gotta watch them niggas at night. That's when they come to assume guardianship. If you read the Book of Wars against Jehovah, and when it was the battle of 1,000 years, it talks about how they took over the guardianship over mortals. It was by attacking at night, and they was attacking your guardian angel to assume guardianship. And if they was able to move your guardian angel and assume guardianship, they got you hook, line, and sinker. So yeah. Yes. Rashad, what you say? What's up, Selah? Been a minute since I tapped in, but yeah, man, we still here. Ain't going nowhere. We ain't going there. The word will still go forth, you know. Jah word still go forth, you know. It's still Jah all day. Jah. Book of Esquire. Yes, sure. But what specifically? Give me a specific answer so I give you a specific question and give you a specific answer. Chapter 44 regarding angels and calling on them. Let's see. The Book of Esquire, chapter 44. Where we at with it? Thou shalt not call on the name of angels to worship them, nor to consult with them on the affairs of earth. Right. So with that, the way it's a system in order to do things. The reason he said don't worship angels, because angels could come and assume any name and deceive you. So what you do is you worship on the Creator, and the Creator will send the angels for that purpose. And the way if you know if the angels is from the Creator or not is through the dialogue. So if an angel comes for communion and say, yo, I was sent by the Creator, I heard your prayer, then you know that angel was from the Creator. Because he's telling you that I was sent from the Creator based off your prayer, and I'm here to answer you certain things. But if another angel comes and say, hey, I heard your prayer, I'm here, I'm God, what you need? You know what I mean? You know that angel is false because he's declaring himself as the Most High Creator instead of having the representative. So yeah, so definitely, you know what I mean? Not to consult with spirits, and then keep in mind it says on the affairs of earth. So the Oahspe talks about earthly affairs and spiritual affairs. You want to tackle spiritual affairs because that's preparing you after you die. So it's like you're in school and you're getting brochures of colleges. Those are that's the brochures to let you know that these are the places after you graduate from high school that you could go to. So the affairs of earth is dealing with earthly matters, but the Creator wants you to be more dealing with the affairs of heaven. And then it says, 18, it says, call not on the name of any God, Lord, or no Lord or God, but worship but Jehovah only. So it's a matter, it's a way how he deals with spiritual communion. And then it also warns you of communicating with angels in the book of Cosmogony and Prophecy. Let me see if I can find that real quick. So in one breath it's saying don't, but in another breath it's saying how to go about doing it. Don't call on the deity, but call on thy Creator, and thy Creator will send an angel in his behalf. Because the Creator speaks to you directly as well. You know what I mean? The angels come and inspire you. So some spiritual communion is not necessarily me looking at you. The spiritual communion happens within himself. So like for example, when it warns about certain spiritual communion, let me find that verse. We'll touch on them things there, you know? That verse there. it says be mindful of communicating with spirits before they can lie to you. Oh, you know what? It's right. I'm looking right at it. That's crazy. Hold up. I'm looking right at it. So, in the book of Cosmogony and Prophecy, chapter 10, right? It gives you how to attain prophecy. But in verse 9 it states this. There is also another kind of prophecy wherein man prophesies by spirits speaking through him. This is dangerous, for lying spirits may come to him. Rather, let him seek to become one with the Father, making close observation of the rules of Vortexia. For in this he provided for the development of his facilities. So here is telling you that be careful of spirit communion because spirits can lie to you. So through spirit communion, in order for you to know if a spirit is lying to you or not, you got to examine what he's saying. So in a sense, the reason why I say be mindful of spiritual communion, because you can have deceiving angels that can lie to you. Let me use the bathroom right quick. Let me pull up some music because it's a vibes. Hold on tight. It survives. Yeah, so it's an order to how to communicate with the angels. You know what I mean? You don't want to just go on your own and just be conjuring up and calling up angels. You call on the Creator, and the Creator will send the angel to assist you. That's how you spiritually commune. And the Oahspe talks. That's why the Oahspe say, don't call upon spirits to do it. Call on that Creator, and then that Creator will assist you. Yeah, the dream world is serious, yo. The dream world, the universe is multidimensional. We just described the multidimensional by using the electromagnetic spectrum because outside of visible light is what you would call another dimension. It's another frequency zone. So if our frequency zone, if our existence or what we see or what we're capable of seeing, dealing with multi-dimensions, let me explain this on a science level. Make sense of it. Not that right there. Let me go back to the dietary chart. All right, so right here, this is your definition for multidimensional. So what does it say? It says visible light. So that which we see is visible light is the dimension and range that we can see things. But when we go to the ultraviolet rays and the infrared rays on the opposite side, those are outside of visible light. That would be another dimension. So the multi-dimension concept is based off the electromagnetic spectrum, because the electromagnetic spectrum is the frequency grid of everything in creation. So if you're in a dimension, you're going to have to be within a frequency grid to even be in the dimension. So this is the beautiful thing about science, the creator science. You can't escape it. It's inevitable. And we can show how everything coincide and work together. That's when you know you're rocking with the Creator, when you could just synchronize everything in creation and make it make sense. That's when you cold-blooded with the Creator. That's when the light of the Creator is lit on your head and you see it, people see it, everybody see your light because you displaying the Creator's creation using his wisdom. No, ain't no topic, King. You ain't off topic. There ain't no topic. That's why it's called It's a Vibes, because it's a vibe is just flow. As we go, so shall we get the topic discussion and touch on it. You know what I mean? Whatever we touch on, we just go in for a minute till the next question. It'll be a million questions. It don't matter. We go in. Does Oahspe speak on parallel? Yeah, we just described it. Yeah, so that's so the parallel universes, the multi-dimensions is based off the electromagnetic spectrum. So the angels that are existing right now, that are standing around you, that they say, or that's lingering around, they're existing outside of visible light, which is another dimension, a multi-dimension. Because this is one dimension, the physical domain. This is one dimension, but there's another dimension right outside of this domain, right time present, right now, in the same dimension. So if we was to speed up our vibrational frequency outside of visible light, we'll see a whole nother existence right here, right now, if we was to increase our vibrational frequency outside of the range of 700 to 800 nanometers. So for example, again, if the nanometers, so visible light is this. This is visible light. If we was to raise our vibrational frequency to say infrared or ultraviolet, which is outside of visible light, we will see a whole nother existence of things going on exactly how we see them done right now. That shit will blow your mind because you done tapped into another dimension. If ask people who take mushrooms, when you take the psychedelic mushrooms, it increases and enhances the pineal gland. It accelerates. Nitrogen is a key component of tapping in to the spiritual world because nitrogen acts as a booster. When you play video games like racing cars and they got that nitrogen box, when you press that, what happens? Pew! It's the nitrogen mineral that accelerates the vibrational frequencies in the endocrine system, because the pineal gland, which gives you your ability to see dreams, is part of the endocrine system. The pineal gland secretes melatonin and serotonin, which is carbon-based. Carbon, oxygen, and hydrogen. That's basically melatonin. But the concentration of carbon is what makes it rich. It has a great concentration of carbon, which is a great concentration of negative electrons per carbon atom. And then the nitrogen is what takes you into the spirit world because it speeds things up. And when you speed up, when you're on the mushrooms, you tap in. You seeing things that are in the realm in real time that is there, but then it is not there once when your high come down or your vibrational frequency slows back down. You don't see those things no more because your vibrational frequency ain't moving like this anymore. See, this shit is a science. Ain't no mysteries over here. Ain't no scratching our heads over here. We know what we talking about over here. Whether you believe it or not, you can't give a better explanation using the Bible and shit off of sciences like this. I broke down and cried hallelujah over and over one day, and it felt like I had a brief visitation. Wind blew and a flood of peace. Yo, funny you say wind blew, yo. I can relate to that, yo, because when I came across the Oahspe, I had a similar experience as far as pouring out the soul. You know what I mean? Like right before the Oahspe, it was a revelation. It was the last false God revelation. I ain't gonna hold you. You know what I mean? But it was a test from the Creator of diligence on my end. That's I'll probably explain that story one day. You know what I mean? But that day, when I was supposed to do what I was supposed to do, the wind was blowing so strong at my mother's house, it felt like a damn hurricane was there. And it was a bright, sunny day. It wasn't even a windy day. But that vortex was kicking up. And I'm like, damn, I'm like, you see how the wind blows? What's going on? You know what I mean? But that's another story for another time. But the wind has a lot to do with spiritual presence, too. If you sitting in the room, because you know, ain't no wind currency flowing in the room. You just in a room with basically still air, and you feel a brusque of wind pass by. Don't sleep on that. The spirits are all around you. They're not necessarily just always standing right there, but they pass through. And sometimes you could pick up on the wind. You could pick up like a motherfucker touching you, like somebody barely touching your heads, and you feel like, yeah, you could tell. Them niggas will fuck with you too. They'll fuck with you. That's why the Bible say, the Oahspe say, don't do that spiritual communion. Because there's some niggas over there that know what they doing. And if they see you picking your head in, and you ain't really expert in the realm, they're like, oh, we got him. Look, he's trying to tap in, but he don't know what the fuck he doing. He don't know where he at. He don't know that boom, boom, boom. And that's how them angels can deceive you. Because if you tap in to see a brilliant angel with the white robe on, with hair like wool, looking like the Messiah, you gonna tell niggas, nigga, I seen the Messiah. I had a vision and I seen the Messiah. You can't, but you ain't experiencing the realm. You don't know better. It could be a whole bunch of niggas looking like that, but he just appeared to you so he can convince you, and then you believe you see the Messiah. When you cross over, that same nigga come to you, come over here, I am your Lord Savior. And this nigga is duking your ass. He got you in the kingdom, goddamn, in the cotton fields, picking cotton in the heavenly kingdom. And he's sitting on the throne like master. The only reason he did that because you felt for the goddamn trick, hook, line, and sinker, so ain't nobody to blame but yourself. You can't. Israel broke the law, statutes, and commandments because they fucked up. They fucked up. You know what I mean? So it's like you can't blame nobody but yourself when it comes to these things, yeah? Yes, man. Cal P, that's my dude. Cal P, goddamn, me, Cal P, what's the other brother name? Malachi Maccabee. Forced to be reckoned with. Malachi Maccabee, he got the motherfucking Nazarene and these saying gospels, exposing niggas on that diet, exposing them false gods on that literature. We got the Oahspe exposing them over here on this literature. So it's a beautiful thing, man. Iron sharpen iron, that's all. You dig? Yeah, we touch on anything over here, man. Extraterrestrials, celestials, reptilians, grays. You know what I mean? The Oahspe don't talk about reptilians in the sense of beings, but they do talk about the serpent as the first created species on this planet, the first animal. Prior to land animals or animals with feet and bone, the serpent was the first. That's why the serpent is so significant. It was the first created creature on this planet. Prior to man, prior to land animals. I was like, damn. That's deep. Ain't created good. Hell yeah. He more than good. We can't even put an explanation on his goodness. And we still in these dirt bodies. We still in these corporeal stink bodies. You know what I mean? Some parts, some revelations about spiritual births, where they talk about how they leave their physical body and they don't feel the weight of their body no more. And it's just, I done heard them stories, yo. Watch me talk. Life in the Unseen World. Read that book. Life in the Unseen World. Read that shit right there. That's a nice book. It's a book about a guy who died, and it talks about his experience in the spirit world after his death. And he was a Catholic, and he talks about how all that he experienced contradicts his religious beliefs. He said there wasn't no fiery hell there. He was describing the first resurrection or the first spirit life. So he must have lived a pretty decent life because he wasn't cast in the lower realms or the Hadean heavens or the chaotic realms or the spirits of the dead. But he was taken to the lower realms so he could bear witness to see what it's like. And when it describes that, it describes how, they were standing on grass and the grass started to become faded like how it looks in fall. Then it became a hard pavement of granite rock. And then the sky became like clouds, like a cloud, like when a storm about to come, gray clouds. They describing this in the spirit world. Cliffs and rock hangers like volcanic, like you walking on a canyon and volcanoes. He's describing the lower hells like that. And he's describing seeing people, what look like people, hideous people, protruding jaws and long claws. And he said these were one-time human beings on the face of the planet. But look how hideous the shape they took upon based off their evil behavior. I was like, wow. And that's life in the unseen. Life in the unseen realm is a preliminary reading compared to the Oahspe. It shows you how spirits take on hideous forms. So when we look at the spirits of demons, when we look at the concept of a demon or a jinn or an evil spirit or a reptile, these things ain't too far-fetched. The book said these were one-time people that walked the surface of the earth looking like this. You ever remember when you was in high school and you see a bad shorty, she looked good? 20 years later, she sprung out on crack, couple teeth, she looking horrible. It's the same thing in spirit. Your spiritual look can become hideous if you're not in the likeness and ways of the Creator. But when you turn and become in likeness of the ways of the Creator, your spirit becomes glorious, beautiful. So like they say, Satan, Lucifer was beautiful, and when he fell, he became hideous. That's not too far from the truth. That's not too far from the truth. It may sound funny, but you really need the Oahspe to differentiate other texts to know if it's where the true part's at and where the false part's at. Purple skies and magnetia, sun in it. Sun is this one dimension I've been in. Yes, this is one dimension. The physical dimension is one dimension. We cross over in spirit, it's another dimension. The spirit, the physical, it's an overlapping dimension right here on earth. Because the first heaven rests on the earth. So it's a dual dimension going on right now as we speak. The same way we sitting here having this conversation, it could be two motherfuckers looking this way having a conversation in spirit, totally in another dimension outside of visible light in this realm. Same way we in a house, look, we right here, we tap in, nigga, we could be at the corner of a street in spirit. Nigga, it's a stop sign in the street, and you in the middle of the street, but that's the spiritual world. It's moving on the same playing field, different vibrational frequencies, and differently built up and shit. So it's interesting when you start playing with the variables of these things. All right, now you speaking my language, Brenda. So Insidious movie wasn't far off. Now you speaking my language. All I watch is thrillers. That's mine. That's me per se. I'm into the thrillers. I ain't the comedy guy. I ain't the action shoot 'em up guy. I like my thrillers. I like Insidious. I like shit like Conjuring. Goddamn, Drag Me to Hell. The reason I like these movies is because it shows you the nature of the spirits of darkness. And then it shows you the nature of how they spiritually commune with the spirits, but the dark spirits are always coming. Where the spirits of light at? So, and that's Hollywood. They're always going to give you the dark side. They ain't going to give you the creator's light. They're going to give you the light of who they follow. So, with Insidious now, for those who know the movie Insidious, the father's son was an addict, meaning he could tap into the realm and astrically project his body and go in the realm, and he'll come back and wake up and talk about what he's seen. So one part of the movie, his son tapped into the realm, but he got so far in the realm, he got lost. He got lost in the realm. So the doctor, they took him to the doctor because they were like, you can't wake up. The doctor said, ain't nothing wrong with him. He's in a coma. But come to find out, the mother, friend, was a medium, was a spiritualist. So the mother called the friend and said, yo, I got a situation with my son type shit. So the medium came, and the medium realized that the son had traveled too far off in the spirit world, and he got lost. He lost, he can't get back. So he's just in the realm. He's in a coma, still breathing, but consciously, he's somewhere else in the realm spiritually. So the medium told that to the mother what's going on. So the father, he tripping or whatever. He like, damn, what the fuck? So the medium tells the father, like, yo, you're gonna have to go get your son. And the father like, man, I don't know nothing about this shit. I ain't no medium. I don't know how to do that. But lo and behold, the father was an addict. But his mother stopped him from young because he used to have the same experiences tapping in and going into the realm. So the father agrees to be like, all right, I'm gonna try it. So the father sits in the seat, and the medium got the little thing going, and he says, yo, follow my voice, follow my count, follow my thing or whatever. So the medium is talking to the father. So he sit up there listening to the thing, and then he gets up and be like, man, it ain't working. This shit ain't making no sense. And when he gets up and turn around, he see himself sitting in the chair. The nigga done tapped in and he ain't even know it. So when he look back and see himself, he's shocked, like, oh, but the medium already knew. So the medium was like, yo, follow my voice, boom, boom, boom. So now he's in the realm. They disappear, and he's totally in the realm. So the vibrational frequencies are to slow down. It had to, because the darker realms is in the slower vibrational frequencies. So he tapped in where he was all the way in. There is no visual of where the living room at, where they at. He all the way in. But the medium said, hear my voice when it's time to return. So he goes in looking for his son. He come across other spirits, blah, blah, blah. Then he find his son. When he find his son, guess what? His son was confined. Just like the Oahspe say, when the spirits of the dead or the emissaries, the evil spirits capture you, they can confine you and ward you about. His son was in a cage. And then when his father seen him, he's looking like, I got to get you out of this cage. But then when he look up, It's the goddamn Baphomet. The damn Baphomet goat got this nigga's son in a cage. So it holds a little drama shit. The Baphomet coming, he trying to get his son. He gets his son. They running, trying to come back to the voice. All the spirits starting to closing in on them. They closing him, and the medium is like, follow my voice. So he's trying to run, following the voice, and he gets to the voice. Then he's like, the spirits start closing in on him. Then he's like, what do I do? Like, and then he wakes up. He taps out. He comes back to this dimension. But the movie Insidious, a great one. A great one. All three of them, 1, 2, and 3. And I heard they're working on The Conjuring 4 right now. Right, medium's not bad. They just interact with spirits. They misdialogue it as schizophrenia. Exactly. So that's what we say with the Oahspe. In order for know if this book is demonically influenced or not, you would have to read the text, read what the spirit is conveying in the text. And when you do that, you're going to realize that this book is from a divine source, the creator, because ain't no demon going to tell you to goddamn stop eating meat. Ain't no demon going to tell you not to engage in warfare. Those demonic activities help the demon. Like, nigga, go eat you some pork, nigga. Go shoot that man. That's what the demons want. So you can be a part of them when they cross over and y'all moving gangs and start doing things that gangbangers do. They terrorize the community. See that? But the Oahspe ain't telling you to terrorize the community. It ain't telling you to go pick up your sword and go kill off another tribe because I'm an angry and jealous God. Be mindful of what y'all following, yo. Certain mediums are not bad, right? So, like mediums, a lot of those mediums be on point. They'll tell you one of your ancestors standing right there, and they'll describe it, and it'll be your grandmother that they describe it. And that medium don't know you from a can of paint. You don't know her from a can of paint, but that medium just described your grandmother, or just described something your grandmother like, or your mother, like, whoever passed on in light, or what they used to wear. How the medium know that? Because see, a lot of these spirits try to communicate back with their loved ones. But the communication is not there because we don't communicate. We don't know about that shit. But you have those, the same way we study Oahspe, you have those who study spirit communion, and they tap in. Just like in the movie Ghost, when Whoopi Goldberg was playing a medium, but she was the fake medium. She was pretending. But then what happened? A real goddamn spirit came to her ass, and she spooked the fuck out. She spooked the fuck out, ran in the closet, and the nigga came in the closet. Then she ran back out the closet. Because she was playing with something that she finally got an answer. She heard a voice, but she couldn't see the man. See that? So in the movie Ghost, the movie Ghost is a perfect example of the nature of the spirit when it cross over. Because in Ghost, you see Patrick Swayze, but they couldn't see him. But we seeing him. So it's showing you that the spirit was moving outside of visible light, but he could still be in the realm. Because he's still on the cusp. He's still on the cusp, on the borderline of visible light and invisible. He's right there at the grid. See that? Spiritual science, baby. Discernment is key. Exactly. If you got a God in the Bible telling you to kill infants, and this is supposed to be the same God in Genesis, goddamn. How do we get to goddamn not eating fruit, eating fruits and vegetables and not killing man to killing goddamn infants? How did God go from thou shalt not murder to nigga, go kill off them goddamn infants? What changed God's heart to do that? Or are you just in just in denial that you're not following the creator, you following a false God? We already exposed the Genesis God. We said the Genesis is the myth. And we showed you the manner of creation of how worlds are created through vortexine energy. Showed that on the Brothers Show tonight. You know what I mean? Brothers was in agreement. They're like, all right, that shit makes sense. Then we displayed it in nature how it would coincide. When nature can back the book, bruh, that's merit. That shit is wisdom. Discern all, exactly. Familiar spirits, Brenda, yup. Familiar spirits are family spirits. Spirits of family members who have crossed on and they still trying to communicate with you. Just like if you love your children, right? Just imagine one of your children crossed over right now. You're gonna be trying to communicate. Or if a medium says I could communicate with your son who just passed 2 days ago, you're gonna be like, all right, I want to talk. Is he okay? Is he in good spirits? You're gonna want to know. And then the spirit may tell you, yeah, he's in good. He just want to let you know, Mom, I'm okay. And that's what the spirit may tell you. And you like, oh, that's what the medium may tell you, the parent. And you be like, okay, I can settle for that as long as he's okay. My wife could goddamn come and testify. Her friend died. And he came back through a phone call. Her phone rang, and it was him saying, I'm okay. I just want you to know. He said, I can't speak long. I just want you to let you know I'm okay. I heard that same thing on several occasions from 7 different people who don't know each other. When a person that they know died, they got a phone call saying that I can't speak long. They emphasize the fact that they can't speak long. I just want to let you know that I'm okay. So these spirits is like, nigga, the reason he's saying I can't speak long, because it's so glorious, there's so much I got to see. It's like when you go on vacation and you call your people to let you know you got there, and you're like, yo, ma, I'm here, I can't speak long. We trying to go here and here. All right, let me, bye. Boom. Because the excitement to come. Same thing with the spirits of the dead when they cross over. They see that shit, but they mean to get an opportunity to let you know that they okay. Then they up out of here. Boom. Beautiful thing. Yeah, artificial intelligence, yeah, no doubt. That's the next dangerous threat to man, artificial intelligence. In the movie The Matrix showed you that. The Matrix showed you that AI, artificial intelligence, took this shit over. You know what I mean? They took this shit over. They had mortals grooming them from babies. You remember when Neo came out the Matrix and he was born? When he woke up out that thing and he raised up and seen all the fields, he was sitting in that thing since he was a baby. Huh? From the day he was born to the day Neo woke up and pulled them things on the back and he was looking out the thing, that's when he awoke from his slumber. That whole time he was connected into a computer program called the Matrix, and then when he tapped out and got out the Matrix is when you see him pulling that shit out, and he's actually seeing the real world, how it looks in real time. And then when they draw him back out to Neil and them, they when they got his body, and then he says, I can barely see, and then what did Neil say? He said, you never used your eyes before. You know why? Because from his birth to the time when he pulled that shit out, that was his first time opening his eyes in the real world. Prior to that, he was plugged in the Matrix with tubes in the back, with cords or signals connected to his spinal cord, showing you the central nervous system is the connection to the main conduit, the mind frame, the stimulation in the Matrix. When Neil finally woke up and he was in the laboratory or whatever they was at, and he sat in that chair and they plugged him in, he's tapping back in the Matrix. They put him in the simulator where it was an all-white room and it was just him and Morpheus talking. He said, yo, this is the construct. Neil looking around like, yo, this isn't real? He couldn't believe it. He didn't know he was in a simulated reality using his psychological, his neurological central nervous system to do it. Just like that virtual reality that they put on your head as a helmet and you in a virtual world, that's the rudimentary levels to where we headed. The Matrix was light years ahead of its time. Light years ahead of its time. And it's crazy how that was on the cusp of the new millennium when they revealed that, put that movie out. So they showing you technology linked in with anatomy, your human body, like a cyborg, half machine and half human. That's what they're about to merge next. That whole, the metaverse and all that, that's what they slowly gonna be doing. Sooner or later, they're gonna have a microchip that you can plug in and you can tap in right then and there. Off switch, on switch. Yes. So this is the things going on, yo. Technology is springing. So in the Matrix, Neo in the Matrix, he in his mind, and Morpheus pulls up one of the simulator, the practice. He pulled up the building, now they on top of a building, and Neo is looking like he really thinking he on a building. Then Morpheus say, what? Free your mind! And he jumps and leaps over there because Morpheus know that this shit ain't real. And in this environment, you are the gatekeeper here of this environment. You're the sole controller of this environment. You are the savior in this. That's what Morpheus was trying to show Neo. You are the savior. So Neo ain't comprehend that. He looking around. He's still thinking this is real. So he goes to try to jump, and his mind won't allow him to free it, and he falls, and he busts himself up, and he cracks up. When they come out, he see blood, and he's like, I thought this wasn't real. What did Morpheus say? Your mind makes it real. So if you realize this ain't real, you will be able to overcome the obstacle. See, the Matrix was light years ahead of its time. Kizzy Rod, I don't know if you see the interview, Kizzy, or if you just chiming in, but you can probably catch the recap on the brother's channel. Yeah, I downloaded the link and put it. Sid, is that the iron mixed with clay? I'm not sure. I know about that prophecy that they talk about with us, the Babylonian concept. But I'm flowing from head to head, so I don't even know where we at with it when you ask that. I'm just jumping around. I see you, family. Matrix is the religion of the false gods. You got to unplug. That's right. So the Matrix is the doctrine of the false god, because the Matrix is the lifestyle. You in the Matrix, you live in your life, boom, boom, boom. But the inventors of the Matrix is the false gods. The worker bees that when Neo was born and the machine came and grabbed him, and those are the angels doing the work of the architect who created the Matrix. And when you seen the creator of the Matrix, it was a dude sitting in a spot. He God. I forgot what Matrix. I don't know if it was the second one or the third one, when he actually came to the core of the Matrix. When he came to the dude who was behind the architect. When he came to the architect, it was a nigga in a business suit. That was the God. That was the false God running the Matrix. That was him and showed it. And then it had all the computer screens, and anything Neo thought, it'll express on the computer screen. Showing he's the master architect. Nigga, I know what you're thinking. I know what you're doing. I created this realm for you. See that? That's why you ain't supposed to communicate with spirits without Jehovah's approval, because you have deities that are advanced and great deceivers that'll get your ass. Is that real? She, bro, you ain't know y'all was till you late. You like what? You an hour and 13 minutes late. Ha! We've been on here since the debate. I mean, not the debate. I'm sorry. The discussion with the brothers. Great discussion with the brothers, open-minded brothers, Israelite brothers. So that was a good build, man. They was genuine. They raised some good questions. The people raised good questions. But the debate still stands, because the debate is where we're gonna get the clarity. Because you can raise as many questions. Not saying nothing about the brother show or nothing like that. I'm speaking just in general. You could just, a person could raise many questions and go from here to there, like how the brother was going back and forth. He just go from here, we went from Moses to this to that. We just vaguely just thinking. But if we narrow it down to a topic and chapter and verse to pull out to back that topic, then that's when you're going to see how sharp the Oahspe is. So if you were to debate, do God require blood sacrifices, then we could go near we'll just extrapolate all the verses where the Creator say don't kill his animals. You know what I mean? The reason he say don't kill his animals because sickness and disease and impurities is gonna inhabit your temple, your body. That's why he ain't condemning you. He ain't saying don't do it. You got the free will to do it. But he says, if you do so, these are the conditions that come with it. Simple. Just like when they say if they break the laws of God, God will be angry at you. That's their concept. Their concept is that if they break the laws of statutes and commandments, their God is going to be angry with them. Our concept is if we break the laws of the Creator, we're going to cause death and disease upon ourselves. If the Creator say eat your fruits and veggies, and you decide to eat the meats, and then you get diabetes, you get colon cancer, you get stomach cancer, that's because you was eating the animals that the Creator told you do not eat. And now you in a position. You could either die from this disease or you could do something about it and reverse this condition and get rid of the disease. But in order to do that, you're going to have to go to an herbivorous diet. That's why the Creator said, I want you to be an herbivorous man of peace, because herbs is what's going to have your body healthy by cleaning out mucus and acid. Meat produces mucus, acid, and worms in the intestines and in the body. So Eating meat is going to cause your blood circulation to slow down, which in return is going to slow down your energy, because your energy is based off blood, which is iron. So iron is energy to the human body. The greater the iron flow, the greater the energy amount. The less the iron, you have less energy. That's why people who are anemic, who are low on energy, is low on iron. The way you increase your iron intake is based off of plants. High concentrated plants will give you a better circulation of blood flow. See that? This is the herbivore science. But a carnivore, if you eat the blood, if you eat flesh and blood, or if you eat meat, it's gonna slow down and create gunk in the blood. It's gonna clog the arteries with gunk, fat, oils from the meat. And it's gonna slow down blood circulation. It's gonna cause the bloods to clot, what you call blood clot. Bomba clot, blood clot. Where I said, boy, when you call blood clot, that's due to poor circulation and mucus buildup in the blood. That's from the carnivorous diet. So the Creator's showing you the science. You niggas want to still eat your goddamn Passover lamb. The Passover is just supposed to be a memorable thing, not to go out there and cut the gut of a lamb. That was a one-time event. Oahspe showed you that was just for that time period, because y'all was in that situation, and that was a testimony, the cutting of the lamb of innocent blood. Oahspe talks about it, but it wasn't to be continued, killing goats and shit like that. If Yahshua was the Passover lamb, and he was the ultimate sacrifice, what you niggas is still doing cutting goat on the Passover? Y'all just all fucked up. Y'all don't know what to do. The false gods got niggas totally confused out here. They don't know if Yahshua is the Passover lamb, or they don't know if when we celebrate Passover, we supposed to still be eating lamb. First of all, y'all niggas ain't supposed to be eating no meat in the first place. At this point in time, in this dispensation of time, 2020, niggas ain't supposed to be inhabiting no flesh and blood in their body. You dig? I just found out my children were eating animals when they were not around me. They go to the other family's house. Yeah, that was one thing. When my son was little, oh man, I was tight. But one day my son asked me, he was 4 years old. He said, "Daddy, why you don't eat meat?" And I explained to him. I said, when you eat dead things, it's gonna rot inside you, and it's gonna produce worms, and then you're gonna get sick. That boy ain't ate a piece of meat since then. My son been a vegetarian since 4 years old. When I told him that day, he told his mommy and them he ain't want to eat. His mother ain't press it. She was like, all right, he don't want to eat meat. We ain't gonna press the issue. And he had asthma at the time. My son used to be on the machine when he was born. He had asthma. That came from his mother's side. She had asthma. So my son had asthma. When you got asthma, that means your lungs is swollen. It's abnormal with mucus and inflammation. When my son went vegetarian, asthma left. He was playing football and all. You know, if you got asthma, you ain't playing no football. Your ass can goddamn die out there if you got asthma trying to play football. Nigga, my son was on the field taking hits, boom, boom, boom. The asthma was gone. The mucus cleared away from the diet. You know what I mean? See that? So yeah, this shit real. Testimonies is real. Some think the Messiah ate too. The book is, yeah, they talking about Yahshua goddamn died, resurrected, came back, and then ate a piece of dead flesh, a dead fish. Shit don't even make no sense. The fuck is a spirit who was a vegetarian? In the Oahspe it says Yahshua commanded not to eat meat. Don't eat no fish. It said fish too. You know some niggas that give the pass. Like, I don't eat chicken, I don't eat meat, but I do eat fish. Like, fish was the mark of the pass. Nigga, the Oahspe says no fish. I was like, damn, okay. So if Yahshua say no fish, what the hell you gonna come back and eat a piece of fish? Where that shit at? When a nigga say no fish? Yeah, Yahshua say don't eat no fish. Matter of fact, let's get that. What verse? Somebody put in the chat what verse Jesus ate the fish. And then we're going to go to it in the Oahspe where he commanded not to eat fish. But then he died and resurrect only to come back to eat a piece of fish. Who do that? Who the hell died only to come back to eat a piece of fish? I found it in the goddamn on the Oahspe. That's verse 4. Let me find that verse in the Bible where God ate a piece of fish. And keep in mind, Jesus is God to some people. So God came down to eat a piece of fish. God had to taste his own creation like, I done made me this. Damn, this shit came out of me tasting this good? Come on, man. That shit is fucking hilarious. Let me find a verse where Yahshua, accordingly, eat fish after his death. Who know that chapter and verse in the Bible? That's in Matthews. I'm going to pull that shit up real quick. Give me a minute. I got the verse in the Oahspe right here where Yahshua say, don't eat fish. You know, keep in mind the Oahspe, they got the depictions of the prophets, but don't lose sight of that. Don't let that shit, don't get caught up in, it's just a goddamn picture. I don't go by the pictures in the Oahspe. Never did from day one. I never co-signed the images in the Oahspe like these are the prophets and how they look. No. You know what I mean? Sometimes pictures are just there to convey the message. So don't get caught up in the picture. Understand the message being conveyed. Now, let me put Jesus eat fish. Let me see what verse that is. Oh, we got it. Luke 24, 41. Angelica, save the day. I was close. I said Matthew. I was close. Luke 24, 41. Oh, yes. That saves me from going through all this shit on my phone. Alright. 24:41. Alright, so check it. In the Bible, big up to the sis Angelica. She found the verse for the God. Luke 24, verse 41. It states, and this is after Jesus' resurrection. And while they were yet believed not for joy and wondered, he said unto them, have ye here any meat? This nigga asking, have you here any meat? Verse 42, and they gave him a piece of broiled fish and of a honeycomb. And he took it and did eat before them. So here, Jesus went through persecution, torture, death, spent 3 days and 3 nights or whatever, rose from the dead, disguised himself like a gardener, whatever the case may have been, sees his disciples, say, yo, got a piece of meat? I know I'm a spirit, but I'm quite hungry though. Let me get a piece of that fish. And it says he ate. Now, when he was alive on earth, in the Oahspe, it states what? In the book of Esther, chapter 44, verse 4, it states what? Thou shalt eat no flesh of any animal or fish. Or fish. Things which Jehovah created alive. So in the Oahspe, book of Esther, chapter 44, verse 4, it states that Yahshua said, you shall eat no fish. But in the Bible, in verse 42, and they gave him a piece of broiled fish and of a honeycomb, and he took it and he ate it. So Yahshua broke his own commandments when he became the most glorious thing an angel. He didn't eat no meat. He's telling niggas, yo, don't eat no fish when you alive, my nigga. Don't eat no fish. Jehovah say don't eat no fish. Then the nigga died, crossed over in spirit, see some cats. You got a piece of fish? Them niggas should have been like, hold up, bro. Wasn't you just preaching don't eat no fish? Now you want a piece of fish? Ain't you a spirit? How you a spirit wanting to eat fish? The vibrational frequencies of spirit. If Yahshua would have tried to grab that fish, that shit would have just fell through his hand as a spirit. If he would have ate that goddamn fish, niggas would have seen that shit going down his digestive tract. Because he would have been translucent and niggas would have seen the fish going down the nigga's stomach and shitting that shit, seeing the whole process because he's a spirit. He's see-through. Transparent. See the bullshit that comes with the fuckery? Huh? See the contradictions? So if the Oahspe say that Yahshua said don't eat fucking fish in flesh, while he was in the flesh, the same rules to apply when he's in spirit. He should have came to them niggas and said, throw away that goddamn broiled flesh and go get you a mango, nigga. What you doing? You trying to cause disease in your body by eating? Do you know fish rots in the intestines the same way chicken and beef rots in the intestines? Same process. Rotting of the meat causes tapeworms or intestinal worms. They start out as little maggots, and then they feed back on the very meat that produced them, and that's how they grow. Just imagine. The maggots that come out of your dead body feed upon that which produced them, in devouring on themselves. Just like the Oahspe say about the serpent, they were self-impregnating, devouring, they were carnivores eating one another. Just like maggots, they produce from your dead body, and then they consume that which produced them. Huh? Keep playing with goddamn death. Keep playing with the wages of sin and death, fucking with this false god in the Bible. From the dietary law, where worms are going to inhabit your body, to the spiritual side where false gods will capture your soul and cast you in their goddamn hells. But we trying to bring you back to the creator, but you want to fight that? Huh? It's the vibes. Let's lift up some music. Lift up the volume so we can hear some vibes, yeah? Because we've been dropping nice spiritual vibes. Yes. You hear that? You hear that? It's the vibes. Look at verse 39. Let me see. What does verse 39 say, beloved? Let's read. Let's read while it's a vibes, yeah? It's a vibes. Verse 39 states, at that the multitude cast stones upon him and killed him. See, the Oahspe say Yeshua was stoned to death, which is custom to the Leviticus law. The Leviticus law say you could stone somebody to death. And then it states in verse 40, and Yahweh sent a chariot. What did it say in Acts? Yeshua left up, and he rose up in the cloud and left. And the angel said, what y'all looking at? He said, the same way y'all seen him, the same way he gonna return, according to the Bible. But it says what here? And Jehovah sent a chariot, which is a spacecraft, a chariot of fire, and bore his soul to paradise. So a chariot came, bearing his soul to paradise. And that's tested in Acts as far as when they seen Yeshua rise up. I forget what chapter and verse in Acts is that, but Yeshua rose before the people. Luke 24:39, let's get it. See, the sisters are sharp, yo. In a minute, I'm about to have some of y'all sisters come on here and debate some of these Israelite sisters who think they got them, like Nepal on Sunday TV. Yo, y'all will eat her ass up. She's sharp, but when it comes to chapter and verse, y'all will eat her up when it comes to the Oahspe Bible. Easy work. Easy, the blood clean word. Chapter 24:39. Hold up, did we just read that? Ain't nothing wrong. 24 verse 39. Behold, my hands and feet, that it is I myself. Handle me and see, for a spirit hath not flesh and bones, as ye see me now. See that? So the spirit has no flesh and bones. Flesh and blood cannot inherit the kingdom. So if his spirit ain't got no flesh and bones, and it takes goddamn bones to goddamn eat, it take muscles to chew, how he eat that meat if he ain't got no bones to chew? How Yahshua was eating a piece of fish and spirit if he ain't got no bones to chew that shit? Hypothetically speaking, but it's real. Smooth faith, peace to the God. New mentor, appreciate the God, peace. Conflict, exactly. Conflict of interest. The nigga Yahshua was eating fish and that shit was just going straight through the nigga. No chewing, no nothing. Just bloop. Yeah, and another contradiction we could pull out. Let's go to Exodus chapter 6, verse 3. Exodus 6, verse 3. Watch this. Exodus 6, verse 3 states, I appeared unto Abraham, unto Isaac, and unto Jacob by the name of God Almighty, El, but by my name Jehovah was I not known. So Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob ain't supposed to know the name Jehovah, but they were supposed to name El Shaddai, or God Almighty. But when we go to Genesis, chapter 22, verse 14, what do we read? Let's see. Let's see what Abraham knew. Verse 14, Genesis 22:14 states, and Abraham called the name of the place Jehovah. And Abraham called I ain't going to even read more. We're going to stop right there. We're going to narrow it down even with the verses. Syntax, grammar, even cut more. It stated what? And Abraham called the name of that place Jehovah. And what did verse 3 states in Exodus 6:3? I appeared unto Abraham by the name of God Almighty, but by my name Jehovah was I not known. By my name Jehovah was I not known to Abraham. But here it states what? And Abraham called the name of the place Jehovah. So Yahweh in this Bible is lying to Moses, saying, Abraham never knew my name Yahweh. He lying to Moses because we have that Abraham did know the name Yahweh. Contradiction, flat out contradiction. Any Israelite try to explain that shit without using chapter and verse is leaning on his own understanding and making up some shit to try to defend the goddamn contradiction. We ain't playing over here. We exposing all and we holding you accountable and we ain't giving you no wiggle room to wiggle out that shit. None of that. Close quarter combat. Close quarter combat. Does any of the biblical stories match anything in the Oahspe? I just thought about, what's that, Sedom or Sodom and Gomorrah. Yeah, the Oahspe got the story of Abraham and it talks about Sodom and Gomorrah. You know what I mean? It got things that correlates to the Bible that you would be familiar with. Story of Moses in there. It don't got the whole plight of the Israelites like how you have in the Bible, but it got the story of the main prophet Moses. It got the story of Abraham. It got the stories of other prophets that's not mentioned in the Bible that's coming out of other nations, such as Zarathustra, you know what I mean, such as Capilia, Chini, Po, Hawata of North America. They got those prophet story in there too. We just stick with the Hebrew Israelite side because most of our people are Israelites. But we can sit there and go into the Vedic and the Brahma and the Sanskrit, and we can stay over there with it and deal with that. Or we could deal with the Persian, the Ormazdian law, the Ahu Mazda. We could go over there and deal with that. You know what I mean? So we could branch off outside of just dealing with the Hebraic, but we staying on our people's necks so they can wake up from their goddamn slumber of 2,000 to 3,000 years of believing in a man as their creator. Or believing that you need to have a middleman to get to the creator. You being alive, you being a conscious being, have a direct connect to the creator through your life force, through your conscious connection. You know what I mean? You don't need no middleman to get to the creator. The only time you need a middleman to get to the creator is when you're in darkness and you need someone to guide you. You need a guide. You know what I mean? And there's times for that. Not everybody, we was in darkness at one time. And we needed a savior to save us to get up out of darkness before we became independent saviors to begin to save others. That's the process of salvation. Motherfucker save you, now you go back and save others. That's the real salvation and redemption. Yeah, I told you King the Female's on fire, yo. We're gonna have to get the female Oahspe team. We got Angelica, Kayla, although she new to it, but she still, you know what I mean, see what's going on. And, you know, females comprehend things quick, the time of quickening. Females will pick some shit up like, pew! Motherfuckers will read the whole Oahspe. In a minute, you like, damn, well, so she done read the whole book. And when you read, see, let me tell y'all something. Let me tell y'all the best way to read the Oahspe, to get the best understanding out of it. Because it's a voluminous book, and it's a lot of good information that you can skip around, and ain't nothing wrong with that. But if you want to get the best understanding of the Oahspe Bible, I'm telling you from my personal experience, because I dabble too, but when you read that shit from beginning, from the book of Jehovah, all the way to the book of discipline, straight through, it's priceless, yo. That's why your boy is able to cut this motherfucking book up the way I do, because I read it from beginning to end, because it's a big synchronization of a story. So it's talking about the creation of man and the first God of heaven and earth. So you may have a God in the 16th arc cycle may give reference to the first God, but you have to see how the shit play out for why he giving reference and things of that nature. So when you read it straight through, you're going to get the best and clearest understanding, because it's a chain reaction of events all the way till you get to the book of Selah. The book of Selah, it's not a story-like book. It's just a book where it talks about the different words and the meaning of it in different languages or different sayings in different countries and things of that nature. It got certain rites and ceremonies and there, things of that nature. And then it continues on after that from the book of Esdras and the book of East. It continues on after that. And then after that, it kind of seals out. Then the book of Judgment just lays out basically principle things, you know what I mean? Principle laws. Yeah, yo. This shit run deep, my brother, sister ends. But the females are getting motherfuckers that work, though. He said we sisters can hold it down, help our sisters wake up in a debate. Exactly. Yo, I'm gonna have to get, which one of y'all want to come on the show and do a build? You could either do an interview, or you can have, if it's a particular topic that you may be pretty sharp in the Oahspe, or you may have a couple of verses that could correlate, and you want to do a lesson, y'all welcome on the channel. We could do it on StreamYard. That's what everybody uses, StreamYard, and that's pretty easy. It's way easier than with Streamlab, but I'm using here. I just like Streamlab because I'm just familiar with it. Or if you want to do it here, you can do it on the like how I did Cal P on the phone. If you don't want to show yourself, you can do a phone interview. So let me know, sistrins, if you want to touch on a topic, or if you want to express just your knowledge and information. Because there was a verse, in the Oahspe, the females run shit in the Oahspe. It was a female goddess during the sinking of Pan that came to bear witness, and she ranked out all the gods. Let me get that. The female Phaeatis in the Oahspe in the flood. And I'll give you the chapter and verse so you can look it up and mark it. Anything if you decide to follow, mark it down so you can know when to go to it. So you can be on top of your precepts, your precept game. So when some of these Bible thumpers try to come hit you with that, you counter it with this. Oh, I want to say, what the hell I was looking for again? I'm like, what am I doing again? That's when you know your boy getting tired. Like, what am I doing again? All right, here, wait a minute, let me see. Where the goddess came, bump. I was like, wow. Let me see here. I'm like, this joker outranked all the gods. Let me see. That's the decree. That's the decree, just in case I may have threw it in there. Yeah, we're gonna get into these goddesses. Okay, here we go. Alright, now in the book of Eighth, son of Jehovah. The book of Eighth, or Af, son of Jehovah. Chapter 3. Verse 30, for my ladies, for the females. The book of Eighth, son of Jehovah, chapter 3, verse 30. describes the resume of this female goddess named Fiatis. You can pronounce it however, you know these names is however you see you pronounce it. Fiatissa, goddess. This is a female goddess, and then it runs down her resume, all the labor she's been in the cosmos. But then, right here, in verse 31, so verse 31 is the nutshell of what I'm saying, and verse 30 is the resume of the goddess. Verse 31 states, so Fiatissa, or Fiatis, outranked all other gods and goddesses, and was special guest of honor to Eighth, chief over all the rest. See that? It was a female who came as a special guest, who outranked everybody. And she was special guest to bear witness of the sinking of the continent. And then verse 32 states, and the star, which is the Etherian ship, the star of Fiatis, Etherian ship, was stationed near the earth, that she might the better behold the deliverance of the spirits that were to be freed by the submerge of the land of Pan. And of these spirits there were upward of 24,000 million, of whom were more than 3,000 million were fields familiars and spirits in chaos. So you're talking about 24 billion spirits that they just gave, and this female is here. She brought her spaceship closer so she could better view the sinking of the continent of Pan and the deliverance of the spirits of the dead. See the scale of the shit what's going on? And this is a female. Outranking niggas, all right, I'm here, what's good? She like, yeah. Yo, go get me some motherfucking liquor, my nigga. Like, go get me some nectar, my nigga. We about to watch this thing. This is a female. Gangster. Gang. OG. Diva. Goddess. See, the Oahspe gives props to the women, yo. But in the Bible, it tells you to be quiet in the church. Who says that? Paul. Be quiet in the church. Well, you got a female outranking niggas over here. Which one you want to follow? You want to be quiet in the church, or you want to be the female goddess outranking niggas in the kingdom? That's what's going on over there. That's what's going on over there. It was a female goddess who inaugurated the very first true God of this planet. Exactly. It was a female, and they were brothers and sisters. It was a brother and sister companion who did it. I was like, wow, I started thinking of my sister like, damn, that's like me and my sister going to initiate a God of heaven and earth. And we were earthborn brothers and sisters, and we still brothers and sisters in spirit. So the family, your family tree may be your harvest in spirit. Your lineage. You may get up in the third heaven, and you may see your family lineage going back to a couple generations, and y'all all together now. Don't get it twisted. Everybody in your lineage that passed on is in spirit progressing. And when your ass cross over, if they haven't ascended to the Etherian realms, you can see your peers. You can see your lineage all the way on up to whoever in the third heaven about to ascend. So if you got family members from now going back to, let's say, 1,000 years ago that ain't ascended, nigga, you can see them. Yo, this is your forefather from 1,000 years ago. Boom, here he is. Yeah, yo, that's the connection right there. Because the Oahspe already say that all generals, lords, gods, and captains in heaven are but the brothers and sisters of the spirit of mortals, are but the brothers and sisters of the spirits of the dead. Where say that in the book of that's in the book of Divinity. Let me get that. It said all, boom, right here. Is this it? Yeah. Is this it? No, this ain't it, but it still stays here. It says, verse 19 in the book of Discipline, nor is this all, for there is a third resurrection in heaven, in which the angels rise still higher in wisdom, love, and power, and are sent by God into the Etheria, midway between the planets, the highest of all heavens, over which there are chiefs, who are also gods and goddesses, of still more comprehensive attributes. Therefore I am as any other spirit of the dead, a one-time man upon the earth, even as though are this day. See that? This is God, the angel, telling you I was a one-time mortal just like you. So your ancestors who died 1,000 years ago that's still progressing, they may be in the second heaven at this point. They may be in the third, or they may be still in the first. But you could actually come in contact with your relatives in spirit, your whole lineage. We can only count back like grandpa, great-grandfather, great-great-grandfather. Just imagine going back 20 lineages, and then you can connect with them in spirit when you cross over. You can go see them. Once you be conscious and you start thinking, when you cross over in spirit and start thinking, like, wait a minute. If I'm alive in spirit, that means such and such should be here. Where he at? Then you start inquisiting your friends and your peers who have died. Now you want to know where they at in the realm, now that you're conscious that you in the realm. And once you become conscious of that, here they come, boom. Because everything is done in thought. They'll pick up on your thought. This nigga thinking of me. Let me go show myself, let them know, boom. If Yahshua's still up in this motherfucker, you're going to see Yahshua. Say Yahshua's still lingering in the heavens. He's still say he in the third heaven right now, before he ascends. Say Yahshua was going to ascend in 2048, and he's still here. It's a possibility. You can see the man because he's still in the atmosphere of this heaven. But Yahshua would have been long gone. He done ascended. He out of here. He gone. Because when Yahshua died, his spirit was born to true God's heavenly kingdom. That's the third heaven. Yahshua went straight to the third heaven. And then from there, at the harvest, he up out of here. He up in the ether. Just like when Moses came back, when you find Moses talking to Jesus on the mountaintop, Moses was in the ethereal realms. Moses was in college. He was in the school of college when he went back and called him back. Hold on. See that? It survives. When Moses appeared to Yahshua, Moses was already in the ethereal realm. They went and got Moses and brought him back to the earth. I was like, damn, that's some cold blood. Just imagine you in class and police coming there to bring you back for a crime committed, just using that as an example. Not saying that Moses committed a crime, but he put a curse on Pharaoh. And that's why he had to come back. I was like, damn. He said, you're going to be goddamn. He said, yo. And the reason he had to come back because Pharaoh was in hell from the time of Kemet. This nigga was 1,500 years in hell in chaos. And Moses had to come back and redeem him. I was like, wow. I said, this shit ain't holding no goddamn blows. They ain't playing no games over here. It's entitled, in the book of Esther, it's entitled Moses Returned from Heaven. I was like, wow. What chapter and verse that is? Matter of fact, let me get this one from the good book. When they talk about the good book, Oahspe is the good book. It ain't the bad book with demonic demons and shit telling you to kill infants. This the good book. Wait till 2048 is going down to blow their minds. Big facts, yo. Big facts. Look, you got infancy, infants, all in the index in the Oahspe. Yeah, though, man. There's so much. My mind going in so many directions. It's just crazy how much stuff you can pull out this book. It's voluminous. It's so vast. Struggling with these previous dates. The dates, the BC, because everything is, before Christ, after Christ, so they based that around Christ, and, that's Luamung and them. So Luamung gave you actually a falsified timeline, but the Oahspe gives you a timeline as well. I did a video on that, talking about the timelines, comparison to timelines. And Cal P touched on that tonight with the timelines. You know what I mean? So we basically close to 80,000 years on the planet, to sum it up. As a whole race, a human species, from the creation of man to where we at now, roughly 80,000 years. Roughly that. Yep. Yes. All is Father, my Father, fair and balanced. And then, the Creator is a union. A lot of times we think of Father, or we think of Him, and we still have the idea of, although we know it's the Creator, but sometimes when we say Him, we still think that man, like the Creator of man, is something like, yeah, that's my Father right there. Not knowing it's when it say He and Him is referring to motion, that's the beautiful thing. Because even in speech is motion. Motion is the vortex. This is motion. When the Creator spoke, you remember what I said? What I say? There's three principal things in creation that encompasses all creation, which is what? The periodic table of elements. Let me give you the visuals, because we are visual learners. These are three principal things in creation, period. Spiritually or physically, seen or unseen, these principles remain. Let me see, hold up. Now, the three principal things of creation first, you have the periodic table of elements, which is the minerals. Those rocks on the left, those are the minerals. Those minerals are expressed in three forms: solid, liquid, and gas. Gas being the first cause of creation, all those minerals are expressed in a gas form. So the periodic table of elements, or minerals, is the physical makeup of everything in creation, seen and unseen. And then after that, you have the electromagnetic spectrum, which is the vibrational frequency of everything in creation. So when we talk about motion, this is where motion would fit. It would fit in the electromagnetic spectrum. So when the Creator said, all is, all was, and ever all shall be, the all spake and motion was, that's when the electromagnetic spectrum started its course. The vibrational frequency, unseen and seen visible light, started when the Creator said, let there be motion. Started that vortex, started that whirlwind. See that? And the third principal thing, of course, is the pH scale, which is the balance of life. The pH scale comes in during the inhabitable time of a planet. So the electromagnetic spectrum and the periodic table of elements are the rudimentary things of creation. Those things encompasses in creation. Those things are responsible for creating creation, because the vortex, the electromagnetic spectrum, is the vortex. And the minerals is what's used by the vortex to create. And then once creation begins, and once creation of a planet becomes to the point where it is inhabitable, meaning suitable to support vegetation and then animal, this is where the pH scale comes in at. The pH scale is the determining factor for something that is edible to the body or not edible, meaning good, food-wise. So a vegetable has to maintain an alkaline level of 7 for it to be suitable. If a vegetable is 2 on the pH scale, that'll be poisonous to the body. And nature doesn't produce no vegetables higher than 9 and 10. So the range, good health, honestly, is from, let's say, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. That's the range of where we at, health-wise. So the electromagnetic spectrum is the motion. The periodic table of elements is the makeup. And the pH scale is the balance of life, the ma'at. The real ma'at is the pH scale from 0 to 14. And 7 being neutral, 7 being the balance. Now you want to talk about the 7, sis? Nigga, that's 7. The 7 is neutral. Water is 7 on the pH scale. It's neutral. And then that's the narrow and straight road, 7. Because if you fall a little bit to the left, you're going to fall into the acidic range. And if you fall a little bit to the right, you're going to fall in the alkaline range. But the alkaline range is the safe zone. The acidic range is the unsafe zone. That's the zone where you get sick at. Sickness and disease thrive in acid. When you eat meat, it causes your blood to be acid. The greater the acid, the stronger the inflammation and dehydration of the cell. Acid strips away negative electrons from the blood cell and dehydrates it. Alkalinity receives electrons from an atom and hydrates it. So in order to hydrate your body, you need negatively charged electrons. And that's what alkalinity is. It's the negative charge, and acid is the positive charge. Your body needs the negative charge because your blood is 7.34 alkaline. That's the alkalinity of your blood. It's alkaline. So if your blood was carnivorous for meat, your shit will be on the acidic side. But you're neutral. That's why your body is able to digest and deal with meat, because it's neutral, it's on the borderline. In the Bible, in the Nation of Islam, they talk about the devil number is 6. Well, guess what? The highest measure of acid is 6. And 7 is the barrier where 6 cannot come into. 7 begins the stage of purity of body, or just purity in example. So the devil stops at 6. 666. 666. But the number 6 on the pH scale is the limitation in the last number of acid. And sickness and disease thrive in an acidic environment. So disease thrive at 6, while purity begins at 7. See that? See that? Just dealing with a little numerology and wordplay. That's the science. That's the science, God. Yeah, yo. It survives. That's good. Moses, what you say? Moses, Book of Esther, 16. 16 through, let me get that real quick. Because obviously we could touch on a lot of subjects and get a pretty decent amount of answers from the subjects talked about. You dig? Because it's a vibes, yeah. Book of Esther. You said what now? Let me see. Esther 16:3. Book of Esther 16:3. Ah, that's what you found. Moses and Aaron. Haha, that's what I was looking for, actually. I drifted. Because I'm like, damn, wasn't I looking for something? Oh, well, let's keep it moving. It's a vibe. That shit had me. So now, that's where, if you want to know, when you read the Bible, and it talks about when Moses appeared to Jesus, in the book of Esther, chapter 16 is the story of why Moses returned. But the purpose of me bringing that up was that he was in the Etherian realms when the angels went to go receive him. So I was going to read the verse when the angels went to travel to go get the nigga. Now I'm back on course. So I remember what the hell I was doing now. I done drifted. Your boy a little tired, a long day. You know, nigga get like 3 hours of sleep, then be back up for another whole 20 hours. So check it. Let me find that verse where they went to go get Moses. They went to go get the brother. me the verse too. Oh, that's the deliverance. Let me get when they went to go driving. I bet. Verse 15. That's the verse when they travel to go get Moshe. All right, let me see. I got to get used to this new Bible because they arranged it different from the other one. So, all right, so check it. This is in the book of Ezra, chapter 16. I'm going to start with verse 13. Now, in the Bible, Moses appeared to Jesus. Now I'm reading where they went to go get Moses in the Etherian realm to bring him back to the earth. So now, verse 13. Hereupon the report continued in the words of Hieropontus. That is, I came before Jehovah's throne, whereon sat Leka. And I told him the story of Nugan. So what's going on here is that an angel is reporting back to Leka to let him know about Nugan. Nugan was Nugan was the pharaoh that drowned in the flood and been in chaos ever since. Right? So that you talking about 1,500 years, this spirit been in chaos. So, or close to 1,000, one of the two. Verse 14. Whereupon Micah, son of Jehovah, said, let my reporters of destination go find Moses. So there's a set of angels called reporters of destination. And their duty is to go scout out this shit and find wherever you at to come redeem or come do a service. So look at how they got departments in the heavenly kingdoms, in the Etherian departments. They got actual angels, and their duty is to report of destination. They report to go find you. So again, verse 14 states, whereupon Leka, son of Jehovah, said, let my reporters of destination go find Moses. And if it be that Moses put a judgment upon Nugan, Pharaoh, then Moses must return to the lower heavens and deliver him. The justice of Jehovah reaches to all time and place. See that? So Moses had to come back based off a curse he put upon Pharaoh to get him out of darkness. Now here's the place. Here's the travel where they go get Moses, verse 15. Hieropontus continued, whereupon I salute before the throne of Jehovah. Whereupon I salute in the name of Jehovah, and in company with the reporters of destination, started forth again in the Etherian realms. So they leaving the earth, now they're taking suit to the Etherian realms. And it states what? After passing through 7 worlds and upward of 3,000 Naravian kingdoms, we entered the plains of Sopius, where are suited the colleges of schools of ambassadors, belongeth to the Gatuspin board of Retavias. These are just names in the Etherian filming. And then it states what? And here we found Moses. See that? So again, the verse states how they traveled. Hieropontus continued, whereupon I saluted before the throne of Jehovah. So he saluted, saying, all right, I'm about to be out. And the company with the reporters of destination started forth again in the Etherian realms. And after passing through 7 worlds and upward of 300 Naravian kingdoms, we entered the plains of Sepias, where are situated the colleges and schools of embassies belonging to the Geturspan board of Retivus, and here we found Moses. See that? Verse 16. It says, who no sooner looked upon us, having been told that he was required after, then he prophesied the cause. Moses already, when he seen them, so just imagine you in class and some detective walk in and you know them niggas coming for you for some shit you done did, and they done caught up with your ass, and you like, all right, I know y'all here for me, boom, boom, boom. That's Moses. Moses is in the Etherian realms, in colleges, in the colleges and embassies, and these Etherians come looking for him, and Moses already knew. He already knew. So after all these years, Moses in Etheria, but he still had this on his heart. So check it. It stated what? Verse 16, and no sooner looked upon us, having been told that he was inquired after, he then prophesied the cause. Verse 17, Moses said, Alice me, because thou hast come for me, thou hast awakened in me that which slept all these hundreds of years. Yeah, it is true. I put a curse upon Pharaoh, for I had said unto him, thou shalt yet call upon me to deliver thee out of torments. And I added thereto afterwards, saying, of the blood of the sacrifice of the lamb, this shall be testimony of the innocent blood against thyself and thy people for what the Hebrews have suffered. So Moses is recounting the curse he put upon Pharaoh because Pharaoh was stiff-necked and he wanted to prove his point. So then what the verse states, verse 18, instead of this, I should have forgiven him. O Jehovah, I have sinned before thee, and thou hast searched me out after all these years and brought the matter home to me. Look at that. Look how this book read. Moses had to go redeem Pharaoh from the curse he put upon him. And when he came back to the earth to redeem Pharaoh, and he came to Pharaoh, he gave Pharaoh a new name, and then Pharaoh had to go back and labor with the Israelites to do his redemption work, and the sect of Israelites he inspired was the Essenes. And then he had to raise up one capable of voice, and that was Yeshua. Whole nother story there. Whole nother story there. But we just vibing, yo. It's deep. It's a vibe. So that's why Moses came back to the earth to redeem Pharaoh. Went to the reporters of destination found this nigga. Bloop, 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 bloop. Oh, he over here. Let's get him. Shoot, brought him back. They go Pharaoh. Talking to Pharaoh like, damn, man, I ain't mean to do that. Boom, 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 my bag. And then, let's see, hold up. Because he gives him a new name. Pharaoh. So when Moses come back, he comes to Moses. And it's like when Moses, that's why you got to read this shit. When Moses came back to the earth, boy, them niggas was like, hell, Moses, that's Moses right there? You got to be kidding me. I'm talking about the angels are saying this shit. So it's like, in verse 21 it states, and when all things were in readiness, Moses took leave of his companions, and he and his host entered his fireboat, basically a spaceship, and presently our two vessels were underway, as if in a race for the Red Star. Yo, Cal P, you remember when you told me you and your man went up in did the vibes, and it said it seemed like y'all was racing each other? What did the Oahspe say? What did the Oahspe say, Cal? And he and his host entered his fireboat, and presently our two vessels were underway, as if in a race for the Red Star of the earth. And after some days, we arrived in the heavens of the earth, even at the city of paradise, the abiding place of true God. Such is a brief of the heavenly report of Hyopontis, for on her arrival in paradise, her mission was complete for her presence. So it was a female who went to go get Moses. It was a female who was instructed to go like, yo, I'm going to send some two reporters. Y'all go get Moses and come back. And that was her mission for that particular thing. See how females play a role in this? So now look at the respect Moses get. Verse 23. When it was known in paradise that Moses was coming, great joy was manifested. For God and his holy 11 and his holy council all desired to see Moses. They like, yo, Moses? You talking about the nigga who split the Red Sea? He coming back? And these are the angels. These ain't even human beings. These is angels excited to see him. And then it said what? And God commanded the full board of marshals and also the musicians to go out without the capital and meet Moses and escort him before the throne. They giving this nigga first class. Escort him, red carpet type, you know what I mean? Entertainment, live, Hollywood shit, red carpet. That's what they rolling out for Moses. And then it states what? And they accomplished these things. And Moses came before the throne of God, saluting in the sign, judgment of time. And God answered him under the sign, thy labor is our joy and glory. So these niggas got hand signals and signs that they throw at each other to, you know, the same way when the Rastaman say, when we do this in the Caribbean, that means hail up the king. Hail up yourself. Lodge up yourself. Big ups. But then when we do this means honor and love, respect. Yes, my brother, love, honor. When you see the Rastaman do that, love, honor. When you see the Rastaman do this, hail up, respect. So Jehovah has signs that when they see each other, he gave a sign of such and such. He gave a sign of love. So that's what's going on. It's like Rastaman in the heavenly kingdoms, yeah? It's like Rastaman hailing up each other. So check it. And then it states, verse 24, and God said in Jehovah's name, O Moses, come thou and honor my throne. And Moses went up and sat on the throne on the right hand of God. See that? And Moses said unto the holy council, into the holy 11, God sat on the right side of God. Moses sat on the right side of God on the throne. Did not the Bible say that Jesus sit on the right hand of God? But this ain't the Most High. These are angels in the kingdom just chilling under the authority of the Most High. But in the Bible, it got you believing that God is the Most High and Jesus is sitting on his right hand. See the difference? That's the discrepancy between the Bible and the Oahspe. The Bible got you worshiping the deity. The Oahspe got you understanding that the deity is not to be worshipped, but these are angels in service to the Creator. That's the difference. That's the difference. We're going to stay on the next of to let you know. So now it states in verse 26, your God shall be my God. Did not David in Psalm say that? My Lord said unto my Lord. Now you know how that works. Your God shall be my God. In his love and dominion am I cast by Jehovah's will to deliver thou that hast suffered from me and my words. And God said, shall we not have a day of recreation first? So God said, all right, before you deliver, son, a day of, you know what a recreation is? That's like festivities. That's like God saying, all right, before we deliver this cat, let's have a day of recreation. Let's have a day of festivities. Let's go party for a minute. That's what's going on. And then it states what? Verse 28 states. But look what Moses said. Moses said, nah, till I have delivered Nugon, that was Pharaoh, there can be no peace. Suffer therefore thy marshals to go to the keepers of this man and bring him before the throne. So Moses is like, yo, before we do this, I got it. This is the whole purpose of me coming here. I want to party. I'm with it. I'm with the shits. Let me roll up a couple of whatever, and boom. But let me deal with this situation first, because this is the reason why I came here. That's what Moses is telling true God. So, verse 29, and now again, after a while, Nugon, who was Pharaoh, was brought in, all muffled up, to keep the light from hurting him. See that? And he was still crying out, O God, son of Jehovah, O Moses, Moses, Moses. Just imagine that. From the time Pharaoh died in the flood of waters till this time, he's still screaming that shit. You talking about 1,000 years later. Pharaoh was in spirit. You remember when I told y'all that the spirits are born in chaos on the battlefield? Well, Pharaoh drowned. You remember the brother asked me about if somebody drowned on the last joint? Well, Pharaoh drowned, and look at the nature of his spirit. See how things come full circle? Pharaoh drowned, born in spirit in chaos, and all he's saying is, he's still crying out, O God, son of Jehovah, O Moses, O Moses. For 1,000 years, he's in hell in this condition. And verse 30 states, and when Moses beheld this, he was near overcame by the pitiful scene. And Moses brushed away his tears and rose up, raising his hands to Jehovah, saying, light of thy light, O Jehovah, power of thy power, O Jehovah, deliver thou him whom I accursed. Put his grief and sorrow upon me. See that? The service done unto others. Take the pain off of him and put the burden on me. That he hath sinned against him. that hath sinned against him. Verse 21. A mantle of yellow light, cloud-like, descended upon Moses as he stood transfixed before Jehovah. All the place was still as death. So when Moses wept and seen the condition of his brethren, Pharaoh, he cleared his eyes and stood up and called on Jehovah. And when they call on Jehovah, they call with strength and power. It ain't no play. These niggas is using all their strength and force and strength. Jah! Light of thy... They ain't playing. He crying. And when he say that, everything got quiet, silent, still as death, like the scriptures say, right? Huh? Verse 32 states, the blinds and muffles of Nugon fell off, and he stood silent and motionless, gazing with fixed eyes upon the holy scene and upon Moses on the throne of God. So now finally Pharaoh wakes from his slumber and sees Moses sitting on the throne, right? He sees him. Verse 33, the Spirit of Jehovah moved upon the holy place, and the magicians felt the power. It was the light of one who was mighty from the Etherian worlds. Verse 34. Gently, then the music of 10,000 voices fell upon the holy audience, first mild, as if far off, then louder and louder, as if coming nearer, to soon the words of the anthem proclaim Jehovah's praise. They riding the vortex, they're hearing it coming. The sound, the signal, because the vibrational frequency is the word of the Creator. So every time you speak, the vibrational frequency of your words is rippled through the atmosphere. So the higher angels are saying these things, and they're hearing the words as they come. Oh, boom. And instead, what? They proclaim Jehovah's praise. Verse 35. Nugon, who was Pharaoh, turned not his eyes from the glory of Moses and the Etherian mantle, for he knew Moses, even as it were but yesterday they parted in Egypt on the earth. So when he knew Moses, he knew right away who he was. He's stuck looking at him like, I know you. I know you. You remember when you know somebody you ain't seen like in 10 years, but you know them when you see them? See the context the Oahspe is, and this is all prior to Yahshua even coming to Moses. I mean, this is prior to Moses even coming to Yahshua. This is all taking place in the heavenly kingdom of true God before he comes to see Yahshua. This is why the Oahspe is deadly and dangerous and beautiful at the same time, because it's revealing the revelations of the unseen, the things hidden. Ask somebody who read the Bible, why did Moses come to Yahshua? Why? Chapter and verse. We could go chapter and verse. We're showing you why. He had to redeem Pharaoh. And then it stated what? Nugon turned not his eyes from the glory of Moses and the Etherian mantle, for he knew Moses, even as if it were but yesterday they parted on earth, in Egypt on the earth. Verse 36. Slowly, now Moses lowered his upstretched arms. So the whole time Moses had his remember when he split the sea, he had his arms up? When he calling on Yahweh, he had his arms up. What did I tell you? How do we pray? Those who serve the Creator, how do we pray? With our arms stretched up like this. What does a baby do, a child do when they want their mommy and daddy? They stretch arm. Because why? They want to be lifted up, resurrected. We going up and out. So Moses called upon the Creator with his hands up, face up, calling on the All Highest. And when you do this with all your strength, you can feel it in your hands. You can feel that shit, right? So that's how we pray. We don't put our face towards the ground. Just as described in the Oahspe, Moses had his arms outstretched. It says what? Slowly now Moses lowered his upstretched arms, and his hands were brilliant like yellow fire. And Moses said solemnly, all praise to thee, Jehovah, in parentheses, Eloah. Thou art just, thou almighty creator. Nugon added, for through him is all deliverance, worlds without end. Now he a believer. Now Pharaoh a believer. In thy praise will I sing forever, Jehovah, thou most high God of Moses, my deliverer. Make me strong, O Jehovah, that I can look upon him whom I persecuted and abused. Then Moses looked upon Pharaoh, Nugan, and said, these things had to be. Now this is Moses talking to Pharaoh 1,000 years later. After seeing him on the physical side, now they talking in the spirit. Still dialoguing and debating on the Creator. So Moses says what? Then Moses looked upon Pharaoh and said, these things had to be, though were the last of the pyramidal age of man, and I the first founder of the migration of the righteous. All things are done by Yahweh in his name, in his own way and time. Verse 39. As by my curse upon thee and thy people, have I been bound to come back to deliver thee and them. See that? So by their curse against Israel shall thou now return down to the earth and labor to lift Israel up. See that? So as Moses delivered Pharaoh out of hell and his host, they were delivered because they were the persecutors of Israel. Now Moses is saying, I'm going to send you back so you could uplift and be an example. So what did the verse say? In verse 39, as by my curse upon thee and thy people have I been bound to come back to deliver thee and them, so by thy curse against Israel shall thou now return down to the earth and labor to lift them up. So now he's telling you that these same pharaohs who persecuted the Israelites are going down to the earth to uplift the Israelites. Verse 40, for Israel hath fallen from communities and hath taken to kings, and after the manner of the heathen and the adulterers. See that? We got verses in the Bible where it shows you that the Israelites is worshiping the heathen god that tells you to kill infants and tells you that God is in the image of man, adultery. So Oahspe states what's in verse 40? For Israel hath fallen from communities and hath taken to kings after the manner of the heathen and the adulterers. Her people are divided and broken up, and many of them have become worshippers of the false gods Baal and Ashtoreth, the Baalim, the Elohim. See that? Oahspe is showing you and letting you know Israel fell. Till this day y'all still worship them. Verse 41. And they are forgetful of my commandments, see that? Of peace and love, and have taken to war and to earthly aggrandizement. See that? The same Israelites today that's destructive and want to go to war, the same Israelites of old that was the heathen following the heathen gods, while you still had the righteous stick over here doing like what we're doing right now. And then verse 42 states, and thou shalt take with thee 10,000 angels of exalted grade, and go down to the earth to the inhabitants of the Israelites, and by inspiration thou and thy host shall select and inspire such of the Israelites as are within reach of inspiration, and thou shalt take them away from all other people and from the heathen and adulterous tribes that are surrounding them. So right now, basically what they're setting up is the separation to create the Isayan sect. But look who's behind the inspiration of creating the Isayan sect. One time, the same Pharaoh that persecuted the Israelites is the same Pharaoh for raising up the Isaians. That was his redemptive work for Jehovah for persecuting the Israelites, and he raised up a holy people named the Isaians. Look at the just of the whole. Yo, this shit is crazy. This shit is deep. So check this. Now, so verse 43 states, and thou and thy host shall abide with these mortals hundreds of years, re-establishing them in peace and non-resistance, after the manner of the doctrine of the Isayan worlds. And thou shalt call them Isayans. See that? That they may be distinguished from all other people. So the word Isayan is a term that comes from Isayan, from the Oahspe, the Isayan worlds. Now the word Isayan in the Oahspe means newborn spirit actually. But then it really means newborn as well. So this is a newborn sect of Israelites called the Isayans. They're reestablishing the ancient doctrine of non-resistance. And it says, after the manner of the doctrine of the Isayan worlds, and thou shalt call them Isayans, that they may be distinguished from all other people. See that? Verse 44. Nugan, which is Pharaoh, said, thy decree is most just, O Moses, and I know of a truth thy words are Jehovah's. I pray thee, how long shall this labor be for me and my host? So now he's asking, that's Pharaoh agreeing to the assignment. So now he's asking Moses, well, how long do I got to do this? Check this. So let me read that verse again. Nugon said, Pharaoh said, thy decree is most just, O Moses, and I know of a truth thy words are of Jehovah's. I pray thee, but how long shall this labor be for me and my host? Moses said, some hundreds of years, until thou hast raised a light sufficient unto Jehovah, that peace and love and the doctrine of good for evil be again reestablished from the blood of the Israelites. Even as by the blood of the Lamb I deliver Jehovah people out of Egypt. Verse 46. And when thou hast perfected the generations of the Esaians, thou shalt have sent to thee from the throne of God certain Luis, masters of generations. And they shall labor with thee until an Israelite is born into the world capable of the Father's voice. And guess who that was? Yeshua. But verse 47 states, Pharaoh said, hear me now my plea, O Moses, thou son of the Most High. When I died, as to the earth, and entered heaven, as to these worlds, I found my kingdom as to what was before me, in heaven, waiting for me. And they were miserable, being beggars and slaves. And so this is the Pharaoh who died in the flood, describing his experience after he died, during that time. So again, it states, Nugon said, hear me now my plea, O Moses. He said, yo, let me tell you what the fuck happened to me when I crossed over. He said, son of the Most High, when I died as to the earth and entered heaven, as to these worlds, I found my kingdom as to what was before me in heaven, waiting for me. So he was faced with the same kingdom and people as he had on earth, but in spirit, as far as those who passed on during his reign. Right? He said, I found my kingdom as to what it was before me in heaven waiting for me. Verse 48. And they were miserable, meaning the people. They were miserable, being beggars and slaves and idiots, because of the slavery I had put upon them in the earth life, and I could not escape them or put them aside. If I went away objectively, then subjectively I remember them and was drawn back to them. So even if he escaped objectively, like physically got away or spiritually got away, his thought brought him right back to him, because in the spiritual world, what you think, bam, you there. If you think of somebody, you could either be there or they present could be there. So again, what the verse say? It says what? Verse 48, and they were miserable, being beggars and slaves and idiots. Because of the slavery I had put upon them in the earth life, I could not escape them or put them aside. If I went away objectively, then subjectively, I remembered them and I was drawn back. Verse 49, yeah, I was like a young colt that first being haltered, pulled away, but failed, then pulled again, and failed, and so on, until he find he cannot escape, then tamely submits. Even so was I bound to my kingdom and obligated in the end to yield and become a slave unto them. See that? To provide for them. For I had so despoiled them of their talent that they were as helpless as infants, and many of them wicked in the extreme. See that? This is Pharaoh going through this shit as an earthly king, and the punishment he's facing of those he mistreated in his earthly king. He deprived of knowledge, who he hanged like slaves. So this is like slave master talking about the slaves getting at his ass for what he did to the slaves, or what he did to the people on him. So this slave master describing the slaves doing him harm in spirit for what they did to him, right? Just to put it in context. Verse 50. Nevertheless, I accepted that which I could not escape. I toiled with them hundreds of years, restoring them as well as I could. And in a time of ray of happiness come to me, in hope that in hundreds of years to come I should find my way out. But Alice, darkness, Aja came upon me. Already dark heavens, my evil ones, such as I have had slaughtered on earth, came upon me for vengeance sake. See that? He said the niggas I slaughtered on earth came to me for vengeance sake. So all those Canaanites the Israelites killed came back for you niggas when you caught the word spirit for vengeance sake. Your Bible ain't telling you that. This is Pharaoh telling you this shit. The ones who persecuted the Israelites, killed the Israelites, they came back for Pharaoh for vengeance sake. Vengeance is mine is an expression from somebody who done you harm and you want vengeance back on them. That goes for any spirit. So it states, verse 51, but Alice me, darkness came upon my already dark heaven. My evil ones, such as I had slaughtered on earth, came upon me for vengeance sake. Anarchy overflooded me and my people. They became very demons of madness, and they seized me and bound me and bruised me and suffocated me with horrid smells. Millions of them, and their curses pierced me like poison. See how he's describing his hell? This is where you niggas is headed. Pond Sol heaven is where you niggas is headed if you keep fucking with these gods. Poison arrows. Long I fought them. So he fighting them off. I cried out unto thee and to Jehovah. He said, I cried out to Moses like, yo, Moses, man, please. Jehovah, please. But what happened? But Alice, I went in hell. None could hear me. He says, none could hear my praise. So just imagine like you in a crowd of people trying to speak out and you can't hear, they can't hear, you can't hear nothing because the crowd is overtaking your voice. So that's like one person trying to speak over millions of people. You ain't gonna be heard. So it stated what? Long I fought them, and I cried out unto thee and to Jehovah, but Alice, I was in hell. None could hear me, none could hear my prayers. For days and months and years I held out, but only to experience new and more terrible horrors. How long this woe was upon me, I know not. So he don't even know how long he been in it. All he knows he just dealing with it, but he don't know how long. He says, I only remember that my soul sickened within me, and I felt a sinking and a fainting like an endless death that could not extinguish me. To me it seemed 10,000 ages. So he said, yo, this shit felt like forever. Suddenly I found myself here, distracted before thee, thy holy sons of the great spirit. Whence came I? What hath occurred? Or is this but a spell or delirious dream? And I will relapse again into your yonder terrible nightmare of horror. How can I go hence that my old kingdom come not upon me? So here, he's like, he was in chaos and hell. Then all of a sudden, he wake up and he hears seeing Moses and shit. Like, what the fuck happened? I was in this nightmarish dream. It's like you in a nightmare, and a nigga wake you up, and when you open your eyes, you just see your man standing there like, nigga, what the fuck going on with you? You was sleeping, and you was making all type of crazy ass noise. I had to wake your ass up, make sure you're white. And you in your dream going through what you're going through. You wake up and your man there. And you thankful because he woke you up because you was getting your ass kicked in this nightmare. And if it wasn't for him waking your ass up, you would have still been stuck in the dream. So you like, man, glad you woke me up, bro. I was having this nightmare, my nigga. I'm glad you woke me up. It's the same kind of concept and context. That's why the Oahspe is an ill book. It showed you these things in spirit. And then verse 54 states, did they not wait hereabout somewhere to seize me again for renewal torment? See that? Oh, teach me, thou Moses, how can I fulfill thy righteous judgment and not be entrapped again and perhaps forever? So he like, I don't want to be in this shit again, yo. Get me out of here. I may do good, and here they come bringing me back in, and I got to fight my way up out of there again. See that? Oahspe is showing you. You have Pharaoh asking, how do I get out of this situation? How do I be redeemed from the spirits of darkness? Verse 54. Do they not wait hereabout somewhere? No, verse 55. Moses said, I will give thee a new name, and I will clothe thee with the garment of my own making. So they will rather flee from thee than come to thee. See that? What did Moses say? I will give thee a new name, and I will clothe thee with the garments of mine own making, so they will rather flee from thee. So Moses gonna get this nigga a robe that when they see that light, they gonna get the hell on instead of coming trying to mess with you. Because the spirits of darkness can't be in the light. So check it. Verse 56. And Moses gathered up the yellow cloud, and Moses gathered up the yellow cloud-like mantle, and made a mantle and clothed Nugon, and named him Elias, signifying servant of light. And after that, he was provided with 10,000 co-laborers, as assisted by Gaphania, the Etherian angel, and sent back to the earth on his mission. And God appointed 100 messengers unto Pharaoh, that he may be transmitted every month to paradise. So here the Oahspe is talking about how Moses came to deliver Pharaoh, delivered Pharaoh. Pharaoh explained to Moses what he went through during that time. Moses gave him a new name and a garment to ward off the spirits of the darkness. Then Moses, for cursing the Israelites, was sent back to the Israelites to redeem them and uplift the one capable of hearing the voice. That would be the end of his labor, which was Yeshua. Yeshua was the fruit of the labor of Pharaoh, redemptive works. So when Yeshua went up on that mountaintop and seen Moses, now you seen the correlation to why. You see that? That's why the Oahspe is a banger. It's a vibes. You dig? You dig? That's that. That's that. It's definitely a vibes. Yeah, yo. It survived. So the spirits, you know what I mean? This is the hour of communication, yo. This is the hour when the spirits communicate at night. The spirits come out at night. Yeah, that shit real. And they interfere with your dreams. The spirits of the dead can interfere with your dreams. They can tap in. You having dreams and nightmares, they over there playing with you. Oh, you done came up in the realm, let's get them. They chasing your ass, you running the spirit. How many dreams you had when you was being chased? I had plenty of them. You in the dream, you just being chased. You don't know, you just running. You just motherfuckers following you, just running throughout the dream. You thinking you getting tired in the dream, but you really ain't tired. You just a spirit. It's like you in the Matrix. So this ain't real, but you running thinking you getting tired of when you not even in the real realm. And then when you stop to think you about to get some air, here they come, and you still running. It's like you tired, but you can't get tired from running. You just constantly running. So Pharaoh is describing that same event. He's being tormented by his own thoughts. Not only by his own thoughts, by the people he's slain. They came back on him for vengeance sake. See that? So so your God of war that's inspiring you to go to war, and all those people you killed can come back and for vengeance sake against you. It's a vibes. That's what you got to be mindful of, family. This is why the Messiah said turn the other cheek, so you could avoid these spirits of vengeance. The ones you killed. The ones you killed and slew. Those are the ones you got to redeem. Because what did it say? That Pharaoh had to redeem the Israelites he cursed. So whoever you injured, that's who you got to restore. If you killed 10 men, that's 10 men you got to restore. Or they're going to have vengeance on your ass. It survives. Reap what you sow for real. That's a whole nother level, exactly. And this is Pharaoh. This is Moses. Moses was called by the Most High, but Moses put a curse upon Pharaoh. And he had to come back 1,000 years to redeem Pharaoh, raise Pharaoh up, and then Pharaoh had to go do some redemptive work because he cursed the Israelites. That's why he ended up in the condition he was in the first place. So both Moses and Pharaoh had to do a redemptive work to the Creator, showing you that the Creator is not a respecter of person. If you fuck up, you got to clean that shit up, hook, line, and sinker. But with that, family, we're gonna vibe out. You know what I mean? It was a great night. You know what I mean? We had a nice build on the other brother channel page, Don Yahuda. and the other brother, Hilltop. You know what I mean? It was a nice vibe. We got a chance to do more, you know what I mean, expression, giving some insight of the Oahspe. And then after that, we came here to go ahead and get deep, like how we do, touching on these higher frequencies, vibrational frequencies, spiritual science, you know what I mean? The redemptive process, the redemptive acts that one has to do for the people they injure. Who you injure, you got to restore. That's the justness of the Creator. So you ain't going to be getting judged and cast in the lake of fire. You're going to be judged and sent back to restore those you injured. And that's the ways of the Creator. And with that, peace, family. Let's ride out into the cosmos and vibe out with this one, yeah? Yeah. Hits the vibes. Yes, family. It was a nice night. Large up yourself, big up yourself. Great build tonight. You know how we do every night or every other night. Hits the vibes. Tune in, chime in every time. You ain't gonna hear no information like this nowhere else outside of other Oahspe families. You dig? Oahspe family, yeah. Create a gang. Gang, gang. You dig? Say it with me one time, family. Hits the vibes.